Hello everyone, and today we will be taking a look at the new Space Marine Codex. Today I was able to actually find this at one of my local game stores, finding out that there's going to be new rulings for the Space Marines. As we can see, it has a lovely new picture for the front, and on the back, your standard inscriptions. Fear the angels of death. The Adeptus Astartes are mankind's greatest defenders and champions. Genetically enhanced, post-human super soldiers, these elite warriors go into battle armed and armored with the best war gear the Imperium can provide. Each Space Marine is worth dozens of lesser foes. They are stronger, faster, clever, and more resilient than any non-enhanced human could hope to be. And they know no fear. Though often vastly outnumbered, the Space Marine armies strike hard and fast using bewildering array of transport vehicles, battle tanks, hurling gunships, orbital dropcraft, light combat skinners, and suits of armor to ensure their foes are overwhelmed swiftly and completely. Where the indomitable warriors of the Adeptus Astartes direct their guns and deliver their blows, there does the enemy feel the full fury of the Emperor himself made manifest. Few live to tell the tale. Inside we'll find the usual contenders here, with the whole history behind the Space Marines, the chapters, and the specialties of their war. A showcase of superbly painted Citadel miniatures, a vast array of data sheets for the army, and then army-wide rules that allows to start collecting for the Space Marines. Now, before we continue, most people say, well, what about my old rulebook? It would be the same. Yes, but no. As I've actually, hilariously enough, learned recently, that not only will you need the standard Space Marine Codex, the newer Space Marine Codex, but pending on your army, you may need something known as the Codex Supplement. And since I'm a little Smurf today, I also went and ordered a Codex Supplement for the Ultramarines. I'll go over this one in a separate video, but pending on your army right now, as the current of this video, would be they currently have the Ultramarines and then the White Scars, which mostly through this it goes through the chapter-specific items, and then tells you the particular heroes that come out of this particular rulebook, as well as six new chapter warlord traits, as well as a special doctrine, tactical doctrine that we'll go over in this book here. But like I said, I'll leave this one for the next video. We'll go ahead and move back to our Space Marines. Go ahead and find a way to open it up. Luckily for me, the bottom is weak. Almost. Yeah. Alright. Basically, for any of those at home that that actually have nails, besides me, I usually like to use a quick tool. A light puncture into the side. Be very wary on how you pop into it. You don't want to ruin the pages. Ah, there it is. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, let me go ahead and get this excess wrapping her out. Alright. We'll go ahead and open up. And for those of you that might already know, I believe this is the Shadow Spear cover art that they have for the Shadow Spear that came out. Let's see. Got your context, got your introductions to the Space Marines, and then here's again the cover art for the brand new Ultramarines and the Demons. Emperor's Finest, background history, ancient origins, the 20 legions, how to build a Space Marine. There are types of this is actually the first one. I've never seen them actually bring the tools toward the front here, but nice choice on GW's part, because like for those that have been in the older editions, all this would be toward the very back where you see the points, the weapons, the armor, and be like, okay, what's a storm bolter look like? What's a bolt pistol? Here it actually shows you exactly what it's supposed to be. It's without having to dig through all the way to the back of the book. So this is a nice little difference. Alright, in memorandum, the life of the Space Marine is one unending battle. Their blood and inevitably sacrifice to humanity may continue to survive. The long years, the chapter's journey, new skills. Alright, more than likely, if I'm looking at this correctly, aspirants 10th company. More than likely, it's leading them from their starting from their new age and origin as a neophyte, working their way into the scout company until eventually they make it to the veteran of the first company. I'm going to leave this unread, more likely if I do this, read all of it, someone's going to bitch and report my video, and I don't really have to deal with that. So I'll stick with summaries. That way, those that do get the thing will be able to look at the beautiful artwork and have their own little copy of the book on hand. Let's see, the chapter organization, basically obviously the chapter master, the honor command, yak. The 4 different things that are broken down: the master of the forge, the reclusium, the apothecaries, and the librarius. Then it tells you, and usually as normal for most of the books, your 10 companies, what each one consists of. Basically, for a quick overview of those that don't know, we have the veteran company, which is the most battle-hardened warriors. Most of these will either be, depending on the situation, will either be, if it's for a brand new chapter, it'd be the veterans of the successor chapter, which would be the one to put in the first company. The next 4 companies, from the 2nd to 5th, will always be battle companies, main frontline forces. The next 4, from the 6th to the 9th, will be a secondary reserve company. Basically 2 standard reserve companies to replace, that follow along with the main battle companies to replace units immediately. A reserve close company, more than likely a close combat, as well as reserve fire, which is fire support, which is more than likely heavy weapons, long range weapons, etc. And then finally the 10th company, which is the scouts, or brand new troops, which get their veterancy. Some will remain in the chapters, like Sarantalius. Others will probably get transferred over to brand new companies. All depends. Let's see. Companies of the chapter goes over the history of most of the things. The Ultima Founding. This one I'm gonna have to read on my own, but let's see. There are 3 sections to it. There is the Awoken, the Indoctrinated, and the Ascended. Let's see. Oh, it talks about the Primaris Space Marines. I'm gonna hold off on this one for now. As I said, it's a lot easier for people to actually get the book themselves and take a look, at least because more than likely you're going to need to buy this if you want your newer Space Marines. If you want your Space Marine, so I don't want to spoil everything for you. More than likely someone else will do a video and do their things. Alright, obviously the Great Smurf Lords. All their markings, examples, battle line, veteran, close support, fire support, their command. You can nominate their companies based off the color of the banding, what their rank structure is, the helmets that you can wear. Successor chapters that come from the particular company, obviously the Consults, Oral Chapter, Genesis, Black Consults, Liberators, Skulls. Nova Marines is a favorite of most people. Hilariously enough, I haven't been able to find actually rules and stuff for these, but hopefully they might come with this book. Terminators, Fulminators. Alright, Sons of Dorn, the Imperial Fists. Give us a fortified position. Company, badge, battlefield. Then we have their successor chapters that come through. The Crimson Fists, Black Templars. I wonder if the Kitty Tars are here. Nope, no Kitty Tars. That's probably like a separate thing entirely. Oh, and those that don't know, Kitty Tars, basically look up Arch Warhammer's Second War for Armageddon, where he talks about the Celestial Lions. Definitely give that video a look. That would be more entertaining than anything I can explain. Let's see, White Scars. The cons. Companies, their squads, oh my god. So much detail that you can put into your things, and as most people do, if you want, you can use these templates. Other than that, you can make your own. And everything is true, but nothing is true, but everything is canon. Let's see, we got the Raven Guard, the Edgelords of the Galaxy. Let's see, Heraldry and markings of the Ravens, captains, lieutenants. We got the successor chapters. Most important thing to do, quick hydrate. Excuse me. Alright, now we got the Sons of Vulcan, the Salamanders. The nicest chapter you will ever meet. If you're wondering why, watch What If the Emperor Had Text-to-Speech, and when you get to Vulcan, you'll completely understand. I love how they voiced this character. I love the reaction, because it makes you think about it. And, like, it's like that's not even actual lore itself, but if you... For example, the main reason why I say they're the nicest chapter, because in the Wars for Armageddon, this is the only chapter of Space Marines that actually works with the PDF forces, escorts, convoys of civilians. They may breathe fire, but they will help out anything they can. Ooh, the Iron Hands. Let's see. Unyielding fusions of flesh and steel, the Space Marines of Iron Hands with the mechanical resolve. For the 10,000 years, they have waged war with cold logic, calculating fury. Iron Hands, advanced machine-like. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is the Siege Company. Nice, very nice indeed. I'll have to look these guys up when I get a chance. Heraldry and the markings, basically. Ooh, then we have the successor chapters. Ooh, and then we have the Unknown Foundings. Let's go ahead and go over like a quick overview on them real quick. We have the Mentors, the Black Dragons. I remember I remember the Black Dragons were like something special. Like some of them had like a corrupted gene seed. Like some of them would grow claws or wings or like a horn or something. And then there was like a few of them where the gene seed was still pure enough to where it wouldn't go corrupted. And then they would consider those the most honorable ones of all because they were able to. I think the phrase was they were able to beat their gene corruption. So they're not growing anything crazy. And the Inquisition has a real happy feeling with these guys because mutants. What can you do? But they can't do anything because they're Space Marines and they haven't gone heretical yet. So. You can't get rid of that chapter that easy. Let's see, we got the White Templars. That's something. White Templars are stoic, resilient, although they were Imperial Fist successor. Recent discoveries by Antimantium Genericology have Ministratum Genericology substantial doubt. They have been shaken by this revelation and have launched a star-spanning crusade. Ooh, so they were that. they were Doran's boys, but then they haven't figured out what they are yet. Ooh. Well, I'll definitely admit these guys know how to paint a beautiful battle scene itself. Let's see. Then we got the basic lists. We have our commanders, command squads, different arts, and main arts, how you doing, librarians, descriptions, chaplains. What the apothecary does, tech marines, Thunder 5 cannon, favorite unit in the entire game, wipe everything out. Oh, and for this one's particularly interesting. Battle line squads basically goes over incessors, tactical, infiltrator, close support. You got the Reaver, Incursors, Interceptor. So I think from what they did, they actually tried consolidating this a bit. Close support, which actually kind of works a bit, but kind of minimizes their. Oh, so remember in the other book, I actually got the one right here. Like I got the previous Space Marine book for those that don't decide to stay away from Space Marines. That for example, let's see if I can pull it up real quick. But like each company had it, everything has its own page. The librarians, the chaplains, the company command. Then we got your intercessors. Oh, well, even that intercessor, tactical, close support. Like everything had its own page, even if it was like half a thing or still something. But like for this kind of helps a bit more because instead of having to look at 2 pages, I just got to look at 1. Actually, that's a good question. Like bike squad, yeah. So like the plus side is you get, like for example, for this one, you get to see everything in action itself, like for the bikers. But then you're missing out on extra pages that you can be using. So pluses and minuses to everything. Bikers, Centurions, land speed, fire support, basically your heavy weapons, your Terminators. Oh, yeah, I said there was like so many fire supports, so they put it on 4 pages. Get your veterans. Oh, so beautiful. Crimson Fists. Very, very nice indeed. Let's see, we got your dreadnoughts, the Redemptor dreadnoughts, Venerable Ironclad. Actually, what is an Ironclad? That's always been curious on what that's been. Thick slabs, enemy fire ricochet. Oh yeah, so it's basically just a very, very heavy and venerable dreadnought. Tactical war suits. Got your scouts. Got your transports, your Rhino, your Razorback, your drop pod. And then we get your battle tanks. So these are definitely going to be a couple things. And then like right here, I always love like the visual comparison between the ones. That way it helps instead of having to use an entire page to show pictures of the thing. I can go like, oh, Vindicator has this on it, or a Predator, or it's a Whirlwind. Which kind of makes sense if you know how to magnetize your stuff. You'd be able just to switch out like a couple of things, and you can just use one tank with like 5 different loadouts. Or don't glue some of these bits together. Like for me, I have my Predator tanks, the actual cannons removable, which is kind of annoying. If you throw it around, it flies away. But, let's see, you got your Land Raiders, we got your gunships. Let's see, Incendium, enemy. Alright, so the Astartes chapters march proudly to the page shows examples of the most famous chapters. Angels of Death. Primaris. Interesting. And then all like the battlefield setup for this as well. The Black Legion facing off against the Ultramarines. I mean, it's a common trope, but it's still a good trope nonetheless. As well as like for like some of this extra stuff right here, mini smoke, or like the I think these were called not Storm Talons. These were called Raptors or something. The Chaos Marines with the jetpacks on them. I know they had like some of them like on their particular chapters. Some of them had like special phrases for them. Let's see, a minor description into the Xenos jungle. A couple more incursors, infiltrator. Against the Tau shield line. Scouts, intercessors. Well, I think like for the intercessors here that these are like I would consider them like venerable scouts more than anything. Tactical Marines. Ooh, there we are, White Scars. And then we got your Raven Guard here. Then we got the Vanguard veterans, and then Assault Marines. Interceptor Sergeants, Land Spears, Raven Guard. It's like all these, like, what I will always love about these books is that just show the pure attention to detail, the setup of the pages. It's like so much you can do. Makes you wonder how they do it, and hopefully one day you could either reenact all the stuff. I do apologize if I'm going real fast, but just worst case scenario, I'm doing like a couple second pause in between, so you can pause the video, take a look at what you got. All right, so we'll get to the fun part of the thing. So get your keywords like normal. Is the chapters. All right, so you can't choose Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Death Watch, Grey Knights, Legion of the Damned, or Space Wolves. Rules from those particular chapters will be in their own separate books. All right, so here's confirmation. They'll be coming out with the Blood Angels book. They'll be coming out with the Dark Angels, Death Watch, Grey Knights. If they haven't already, most of these already have their own books, but definitely keep an ear to the ground and a hand on the box to make sure, in case they try revamping the books like they did with this one, whether they might do more revamping with other things, or they'll come up with supplements for their remaining chapters in here. So that's definitely something to watch out for. Alright, so we got the new ability is Angels of Death. The following unit has these abilities. They shall know no fear, Bolter Discipline, Shock Assault, and Combat Doctrines. And the description of this, so basically now we've modified our shall know no fear into Angel of Death, we get the new bolter discipline, shock assault, and combat doctrine. Which, if those that remember a while ago, the bolter discipline was that beta rule, where it was pending on what kind of model it was. You get like 3 different rules instead of for the rapid fire for bolters. Alright, so for everybody, when a morale test is taken, you can re-roll the dice. For the bolter discipline, follow the following rules for rapid fire weapons in this unit. If it falls under one of these 3 conditions, you double the number of attacks. So, like for example, a common thing for bolters, bolter 1, you do shoot 2 shots. If the target is either within half range of half your maximum range, the firing model is infantry that has remained still. So basically, most bolters will have 24 inches. If you just remain still for the turn, basically forgo your move, that particular unit, the same unit or model? You model in the unit. So for example, if you move 3 unit models, the 2 models that remained still have the 24-inch double bolter rule, while the other 2 only have the 12-inch double bolter rule. And then if the model is a Terminator, Biker, Centurion, or Dreadnought, they automatically get rapid fire. So more than for most of these, they get the Storm Bolter with rapid fire 2. So you'd be doing 4 shots no matter what. And then it even says right here, for the purpose of this ability, rapid fire bolt weapon is any bolt weapon defined on page 166, which I'll definitely go over later. Oh, here's something. We're getting a shock assault. If this unit makes a charge move, is charged, or performs a heroic intervention, add 1 to the attack characteristics of models in this unit until the end of the turn. So, like 7th edition, there was this thing called Furious Charge, where if you charge something, that turn you get +1 to strength, but this one you get your +1 to attack. So I can't remember the exact rule for that old edition, but this definitely helps out a bit, because most Space Marines, especially like mine, they'll have like 1 attack, Sergeant gets 2, maybe 3 if he has a combat knife or something, because I run scouts mostly. But this would be pretty cool for some of the white scars, for the those that focus more on the assault phase than anything, like the jump pack ones. Alright, we get combat doctrines. When the Astartes fight according to the tenets of the codex, they employ the combat doctrines. Models in this unit gain bonus depending on what combat doctrine is active. If you have a battle-forged army, units only benefit from this if every unit from your army has the ability, not including servitors or unaligned. Bonus is not cumulative with other rules that improve armor pen. So basically, you get a combat doctrine, but it doesn't stack with anything that gives you the same thing. Alright, at the start of the battle, the Devastator is active. The combat doctrine remains active for the duration of the battle, although you can change it once at the start of each battle round, as follows. For the Devastator doctrine, first turn. It was active during the previous battle round. You can change it so the tactical doctrine is now active. If the tactical doctrine is active during the previous battle round, you can change it so the assault is active. So basically, we move from Devastator to tactical to assault. The Devastator gives us +1 to armor pen. Characteristics of heavy and grenade weapons are improved by 1. So basically, first turn we shred through standard armor. Tactical doctrine, armor pen characteristics of rapid fire is upped by 1. So yeah, as the game goes on, turn 2 to 5, we can, if it's a lot of infantry we contain a lot of bolters, which most Marines will usually go, it'll shred right through it. And then armor pen of pistol and melee weapons is improved, so definitely late game, turn 3 to end game, perfect for the melee portion of the army, especially once everything gets really, really close. You can't really shoot up anything. So this would definitely help in close combat. Alright. So we'll go ahead and go over the main things. As a quick reminder, as you will probably notice that these are missing certain characters and keywords, especially for the Ultramarines. Those will definitely be in this particular supplement. So if you want, this will give you the all generalized. As far as I know, this will give you a generalized characters that can go to any chapter. But if you want like chapter specific, you have to get the supplement that goes with it. As far as I know right now, it's just specifically for the Ultramarines and White Scars. But as I said, we'll go over and we'll double check, and I'll add in extra notes or things as we go along. Oh, sorry. Give me 5 minutes. I'll do it again. That was beforehand, but I'll fix it. And 3, and 2, and 1. Alright, so we'll start simple with the Primaris cannon. Captain. He is a single model with a bolt pistol, the crafted auto bolt rifle, frag grenades, and crack grenades. You can switch it out. He can equip with be equipped with a power sword, power fist, plasma pistol instead of a bolt pistol, and 1 mastercraft auto bolt rifle. Alright, so he comes automatically with a bolt pistol, and then you can add in any of these extra things. And if this is equipped with a stalker rifle, instead of taking the bolt auto rifle, you can take a stalker bolt rifle. Alright, no, hang on. I'm going crazy. So yeah, basically, as it says here, can be equipped with a power sword or power fist and a plasma pistol instead of a bolt pistol and a mastercrafted bolt pistol. So if you want to take it, as it's saying, if you want to take it from range to melee, you get rid of the bolt rifle and the pistol and get a plasma and a fist, or a plasma and a sword. He has the Angel. All Marines have the Angel Death mode. He'll have the Iron Halo, and he gets the Chaplain ability, Rites of Battle. Reroll hits of attacks within 6 inches of this particular model for chapters. For the next one is the Captain in Gravis armor. He will be... 1 second. There. Apologies for that. I'd have to do something else for that. Gravis armor. A Captain in Gravis armor. So the difference between this and the Gravis armor is that he's slower. He has better toughness, better wounds, same attack, same difference. Or hang on, that's a completely different problem entirely. So, Captain, he moves 6, hits on 2s, shoots on 2s, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 5 attacks, 9 leadership, and 3 armor. For the Captain in Gravis armor, he has 5 movement, 2 attack, 2 shooting, 4 strength, 5 toughness, 7 wounds, 5 attacks, 9 leadership, and 3. He has a Bolt Storm Gauntlet and a Mastercrafted Power Sword, which the Gauntlet itself is a 3-shot pistol and can give him ×2 strength, but at a -1, so hitting on 3s. And then if you just want to stick with the 2-ups, it'll be same thing. It'll be a strength 4 weapon with 2 damage, or strength 8 weapon with D3 damage. Same thing as Captain's ability: Angel of Death, Iron Halo, Rites of Battle. For the Captain in Phobos armor, he'll have 6-inch move instead of 5. Hits on 2s for both shots and hitting. Strength 4, toughness 4, and because he's in Phobos armor, not the Gravis armor. He'll have 6 wounds, 5 attacks, 9 leadership, 3 up armor. He'll have a bolt pistol, a mastercrafted instigator bolt carbine, a combat knife, and frag and crack. He'll also have a camel cloak, so he'll be he's going to be more of a scout than anything. He is, so yeah, standard bolt pistol. The carbine is a 30-inch shot with 1 shot. He can shoot at characters at strength 4, -2 AP, 3 damage each. He comes equipped with the combat knife as well, so he gets 6 attacks when using this instead of. So he gets 1 additional attack with this weapon. So 5 attacks of whatever he uses plus this. So more than likely just 5 or 6 strength 4 attacks with 1 damage each. He gets the concealed position, so he can set up anywhere that's 9 inches away from enemy models and the deployment zone. He gets the Omni Scrambler, so anything that's set up with as any enemy units that are set up as reinforcements can't be set up within 12 inches of this guy. He gets the Iron Halo as well, the Rites of Battle, and then for the Camel Cloak, if you didn't already know, instead of a 1-up for the armor, it's a 2-up for the armor. So while he's in cover, he will have a 2-up armor with a buffer against -1s. So in order to get him back to his regular health while he's in cover, you need a -2 AP weapon. Or you just need to be in close combat with him. Whichever is your preference. Alright, so for Terminator Captain, so Captain and Terminator armor has difference between the Phobos and the Terminator. He has 5 movement instead of 6. Everything always on 2s and 3s. Same thing for strength, same thing for toughness. 6 wounds, 4 attacks instead of the 5. Same leadership, and he has a 2-up armor instead of the 3-up. He comes equipped with the Stormbolter and then the Power Sword. So you can switch out for his change out. You can switch him instead of using the Stormbolter. You can choose any of his Terminator combi weapons or any of his Terminator melee weapons. Or you can also switch out the Power Sword for a Chain Fist, Relic Blade, a Chain Fist, Relic Blade, or anything from the Terminator melee weapon list. He can have a Storm Shield as well if you give up your Stormbolter and Power Sword. So you can either make him melee or you can just make him a shield with guns. And if you give him a Power Fist, 1 or more, he can be equipped with 1. He can additionally be equipped with 1 wrist-mounted grenade launcher, which will basically be a 12-inch range weapon with assault D3, strength 4, -1 AP with 1 damage. Oh, and to double check, no, that's grenades, not assaults. Alright, so yeah, same thing as normal Terminators. Ultramarine rule. He gets the Teleport Strike because he's a Terminator, the Rites of Battle because he's a Captain, Halo because he's a Captain, and then the option for a Storm Shield, which is your standard 3-up invuln. Beautiful for squads. Alright, now we have the Capricci armor. It has 4 inches of movement with 2 hits and shots, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 4 attacks, 9 leadership, 2-up armor. So apparently I think this is like an upgraded version. So supposedly it's like a stronger version. He gets the Combi Bolter, and because he's a Terminator, so that's rapid fire 4 with strength 4 shots. He gets a Chain Fist, Power Sword, Relic Blade. He comes with the Combi Bolter and Power Sword. You can switch out the Combi Bolter for any combi weapon, and with any combi weapon or just anything from his melee list. You can give up his Power Sword for a Chain Fist, Relic Blade, or any of the melee weapons. And you can give up one of those 2 weapons to take a Storm Shield instead. So, the Capricci armor, he has the 3-up invuln because for the Iron Halo instead of the 4-up. And when he advances, you have to advance roll. So you can roll he can move a maximum of 7 inches if you advance him. But then if you advance him, you can't shoot the Combi Bolter. So basically you can move 4 or you can move a max of 7. So that's at least for this ability. But he has a good armor, so that's why you stick with the Teleport Strike, the Storm Shield, and you use him as a AoE buffer. Ideally, turn 2, turn 3, drop in, assault, however. Then we got your standard Captain, 6 move, 2 shot, 2 hits, strength 5, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, 3-up armor. He comes with the bolt pistol, crafted bolt gun, chain sword, frag grenade, or crack grenades, as normal rules. instead of taking the bolt gun, you can choose a combi weapon, melee weapon, or a pistol. He can be equipped, instead of choosing a chainsword, you can take a relic blade or any melee weapon from the proper lists, which will be in the farther back. The storm shield, instead of being equipped with a chainsword, you can give him a jump pack, which is +1 to his power rating, so 6. And then with the jump pack, he goes 12 inches, and then he gains the fly and jump pack keywords. So basically, he ignores terrain when he moves. So if you want to have him climb a building, it just takes however far it takes to get to the building itself, and then +1 more to get to the top, or any level. Because he's technically infantry as well. And then as normal, the Angels of Death, Rites of Battle, Storm Shield if he takes it. If he takes the Jump Pack Assault, during deployment you can set him as a drop position. And then he also comes with the Iron Halo, so you're his 4-up. Now, next, other favorite parts. Captain's on the bike. It has 14 inches to move, 2 shots, 2 hits, 5 strength, 5 toughness because he's on a bike, 6 wounds because he's on a bike, 4 attacks, leadership, 3 up armor. Comes with the twin bolt gun, a pistol, chainsword, frag grenade, crack grenade. Now, another note specifically, which I found out, is because he's on a vehicle, you can use his guns, like his twin bolt gun, and then if he's equipped with a regular gun, not like a bolt pistol, but like a bolter or something, he can shoot the bolter and the twin bolt guns. Specifically, the pistol, on the other hand, you can shoot while you're in combat if you can't use your twin bolt gun. All right. And like, for example, right here, instead of taking the pistol, you can take a master-crafted bolt gun, or a combi weapon, or anything from his melee list, or another weapon from a pistol list. This model can also be equipped with a melee weapon instead of the chainsword. You can also take a storm shield instead of the chainsword as well. And then, as usual, Angel of Death, Rites of Battle, Iron Halo because he's a captain, Storm Shields because he can take it. And then, because he's on a bike, he gets the turbo boost, so you add 6 inches to the advance. So, 14 or 20 is your option. And then, more than likely, depending on what option you get, you can give him an assault weapon, so you can advance him, shoot at the -1, so hitting on 3s, however you like doing it. Alright, lieutenants. So, for this particular thing, you can choose, you can take 1 lieutenant, but for an additional 5 power, you can do 2 lieutenants instead. So it kind of saves up on hero slots, HQ choice slots. Both will be equipped with bolt pistols, master-crafted bolt guns, chainsword, frag, crack. All right, the usual loadout. They can take, instead of a bolt gun, they can take a combi weapon, melee weapon, or pistol. Instead, they can also take any melee weapon instead of a chainsword. They can also be equipped with a jetpack. And then, same thing, they get the Angel of Death, the Pack Assault, and they get 2 different abilities from the captain. A Tactical Precision, so reroll wounds. And so instead of getting your reroll hits, you get reroll 1s for wounds. And then during deployment, every model in this unit must be set up. They do not need to be set up in coherency from that point onward. So basically, you get to take, if you do 2 lieutenants, you can put both of them, you have to place both of them at the same time. They do not have to be together. You can put one on one end of the table and then one on the other end of the table. However you feel like dealing with it. Just make sure that you don't lose the LT. That's a given right there. Do not lose the LT. All you know, like you'll find him in a barbed wire or something. I don't know. All right, Primaris lieutenants. All right, 6 to move, 2s to hit, 3s to shoot. Yeah, so yeah, lieutenants will fight just as hard, but won't shoot as well. Standard loadout for the abilities. Primaris lieutenant, same thing as the previous one, but instead it's a 4 instead of a 5. They'll take the auto bolt rifle, master-crafted auto bolt rifle, as the only difference between all of the options so far. He can be equipped with a mastercrafted stalker bolt rifle or a power sword instead of taking his main bolt rifle. And then same thing, he'll get, instead of giving the AoE, he'll just get the tactical precision and the company of hero. He'll get his aura ability and then his company of hero ability, like the regular lieutenant, but doesn't get the option for jetpacks. For the librarian, they'll move 6, move like normal, 3 to attack, 3 to shoot, 4 for strength, toughness, and wounds, 3 attacks, and then 3 up armor. He'll have the force stab and the bolt pistol, and then the grenades. You can give up the bolt pistol for a bolt gun, a combi weapon, or a pistol. Instead of giving a force stab, you can give him an axe or a force sword. And then he can take jump packs. So, same thing for normal. Angel Death loadout, jump pack assault if you give it to him. And then finally he gets this thing called a psychic hood, which basically, when the Deny the Witch test is taken for this model, to resist the psychic power manifested by an enemy within 12, add +1 to the total. So that means if you roll, so whatever you roll, you just get +1 to your Deny the Witch. Then he has, as a psychic ability, he gets 2 psychic powers and can deny 1. He'll know Smite and then 2 from the Librarius Discipline. If you put him in Phobos armor, he'll get the same loadout, except he'll fight a bit better, have a better wound, have a better attack, but less leadership. Which, if he runs due to leadership, then someone's cheating something. All right. So for his standard loadout, you contains one of them. You can throw an additional one for 4 extra power level, or whatever the points cost is for him. He gets the pistol, a mastercrafted Alcolis bolt carbine, paired combat blades, grenades, and then they all have grav shoots. Let's take a look at that real quick. So, Occultist Bolt Carbine, which is a rapid fire 1 with 2 damage, and then if it hits whatever it hits, they don't get cover saves. Combat knives get +1 attack with this particular weapon profile. So when resolving an attack made with this, and then for paired combat blades, when resolving an attack made with this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. So, here's what can happen. Let's say, for example, somehow the dice gods give you a bonus 4 attacks with your paired combat blades. You'll get, if all of them are 6s, you'll have 8 attacks. And then you get to do 1 additional attack with your combat knife, which everything's all the same power. But definitely make sure you have these separate if you roll everything together, because these will have that ability. Oh, and then, let's see. He can be equipped with a heavy bolt pistol and a combat knife instead of the bolt carbine. So instead of his normal loadout, you just give him a heavy bolt pistol and combat knife. Ah, so it's a one or the other, not the same. Never mind, I'm crazy. I'd prefer the combat blades myself more than anything. Alright, and if you switch it out, any model can be equipped with 1 heavy bolt pistol, combat knife instead of mastercrafted bolt carbine, paired combat blades, and pill pistol. If it has a smoke grenade instead of grav shoot and gains the Reaver keyword. That's interesting. All right. So if you switch out his main loadout for the heavy pistol and the combat knife, he becomes a Reaver instead. With the grav shoot, he gets a basically low altitude deep strike. If you make him a Reaver, he gets if he's within 3 inches of the enemy, they get -1 to their leadership for each Reaver unit from your army that is within 3 inches of the enemy unit. So max is 3. So you can go up, so you can have 3 of these guys. You can have 3 of these guys nearby and at a particular unit, -3 to their leadership, which is very, very good, especially if you wipe out most of the models. What's 3 extra? That could be enough to bring it down to 1 to get rid of it, or that could also be enough to just wipe out the entire force. They also get the Company of Hero ability. If you give them the smoke grenades, if you switch out and make them a Reaver, you look at the smoke grenades ability instead. Once per battle, instead of shooting, you can throw the smoke grenades, which does a -1 to hit with ranged weapons for him, against him. And then, yeah, same thing as Lieutenant, he gets reroll wounds instead. We're still in the hero section. Alright, so Primaris Librarian. Force sword and grenades, bolt pistol. He gets the Angel of Death and Psychic Hood like for the other one. He does 2 powers, deny 1. He doesn't have any change to his loadout. So he's pretty good if you want a really cheap one. Let's see if I get a comparison between the 2. The difference between the 2 is they're both the same power. They might have different... They have the same power. The Librarian can get more customization, but the Primaris gets a better wound account. One is at 5 wounds instead of 4, and 4 attacks instead of 3. So he's more of a melee-esque thing. But both will have the same abilities. Except he can't take a jump pack and he can't switch out his weapons. So he gets what he gets, and the regular Librarians can get their options. The Chaplain. The Primaris Chaplain. Equipped with the Absorbor bolt pistol, the Cronus Arcanum, and the frag grenades. He has the Angel of Death. He has a 4-up invuln. He is a spiritual leader. Friendly chapter units can use this model's leadership instead of their own while they're within 6. Alright, so they took away the combat discipline. Oh no, this is a Primaris, never mind. I'm going crazy. This model knows the Litany of Hate, and 1 litany from the Litany of Battle at the start of the battle round. They can recite a 1 litany if it's not been already recited for a friendly model. That's battle round. Roll d6. On a 3-up, it's inspiring and takes effect until the end of the battle round. The Litany of Hate particular does... You can reroll hits for melee weapons by friend... Oh, so they basically changed the rights of battle, like the rights of battle, for AOE from the regular chaplain, and turned it into a litany, to where you have... Oh, so you can shoot, so you can basically give it... So you can give it the AOE Litany of Hate, or another litany that he may know. That's interesting, because when I looked up my Battle Scribe, it had the list of the Litany of Hate, and then like other litanies as well. I'm like, what do these even do? Which reference this particular book. So this is kind of helpful if you want to make him your AOE combat boy with your standard one, and then when I get to the other litanies, we'll be able to take a look at that. All right, so Tech Marine. Move 6, hits on 3s, wounds on 2, shoots on 2s, 4, 3 attacks, 2-up armor. He comes with a bolt pistol, power axe, servo arm, frag grenades, chaff grenades. Can take a bolt gun or a combi weapon or a pistol instead of his bolt pistol. Can take a melee weapon instead of the power axe. You can also give him a flamer, a plasma cutter, or another servo arm for 1 more power rating, or whatever the cost would be. He gets the Blessings of the Omnissiah. At the end of your movement phase, you can repair. Basically, you can repair 1 vehicle within an inch of him for a D3 wounds, and you can only repair for all tech. If you have multiple Tech Marines, they can only repair 1 vehicle each turn. So, like if you have 1 Predator, only 1 Tech Marine can repair it. You can't have 3 Tech Marines surrounded and give it all repairs. Oh, and then for the Primaris Chaplain, they smack on 2s, shoot on 3s, strength and toughness is 4, wounds are 5, 4 attacks, 9 leadership, 3-up armor. Alright, we put a Librarian Terminator armor. What happens to him? He gets 5 movement, 3 attacks, or yeah, 3 to hit, 3 to shoot, 5 wounds, 3 attacks, strength and toughness is normal, 2 up armor. You can give him a Terminator combi weapon, and then you can give him, instead of giving him a staff, you can give him an axe or a sword, like normal. He gets the Crux Terminus, which is the 5 up invuln, keeps his hood, and then he also does a teleport strike with the Smite, 2 powers, deny 1, manifest 2, regular psyker stuff. For Space Marines anyway. The Chaplain. Alright, the regular Chaplain has 2 to hit, 2 smack, 6 movement, 3 shoots, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, 9 leadership. Comes with the bolt pistol, the Cronus, the frag grenades, crack grenades. He can switch out his pistol for a bolt gun, power fist, combi weapon, pistol. Can take a jump pack. Has a spiritual leader. So yeah, same thing. 6-inch AoE for leadership of 9. Has a 4 up invuln, and then give him a jump pack. He flies. He drops down. And same thing, litany. You can recite a litany that either the litany of hate or another one that you have. So that's pretty cool. And they gave him a priest keyword. Interesting. That might have different effects later on. Let's find out. All right, so Librarian Phobos armor. Let's see. He gets the pistol, sword, crack, frag, camel cloak. He has a concealed position, camel cloak, and psychic hood. So basically a scout librarian. Interesting. Oh, and he gets his psychic power from the Obscuran discipline, not Libraris. The Obscuran. That's a key phrase right here. So my Phobos armor librarian uses obscuration because he's going to be a scout more than anything, while a regular librarian will use the Libraris. Let's see, what else do we have? Let me go. Yeah, same thing. So regular Primaris, regular librarian, librarian Terminator get Libraris, and then the Phobos will have an Obscure, and that's the main difference between the two. 6 to move, 3 to shoot, 3 to smack, 5 wounds, 4 armor, Primaris, Phobos, the standard keywords for Primaris anyway. I'm not one for Primaris, but this might convert me to using some Primaris Marines. Not many, just some. Let's see, we have a Chaplain. Put the Chaplain in Terminator armor, yak, yak, yak. You can give him a Terminator combi weapon instead of a Stormbolter. Keynote for Librarian, I said he can take a combi weapon because he doesn't get a shooting weapon. For the Chaplain specifically, he can switch out his Stormbolter that he comes with for a combi weapon in the Terminator listing. Like normal, leader, Rosaris for a 4-up invuln, teleport strike because he's a Terminator, litany of hate because he's a Chaplain. Alright, now we move on to the troops, finally. My god, I forgot how many HQ choices they have. Alright, next one. The Intercessor Squads. So, one sergeant for intercessors can get have an additional 5 for more power rating. Everybody's equipped with a pistol, bolt rifle, frag, crack. That's the standard. They can move at 6, hit on 3s, shoot on 3s, 4 strength, 4 toughness, 2 wounds each, 2 attacks, 3. Except for the sergeant, he gets 3 attacks. They get 8 leadership because of their sergeant. So, auto bolt rifle, assault 3, range 24. The bolt pistol, hang on. Alright, so instead of giving every model equipped with a bolt rifle gets an auto bolt rifle instead of a bolt rifle if you choose. Which the difference is a bolt rifle has a 30-inch rapid fire 1 for 4 strength, or you can give them an assault 3 for 24. Completely up to you how you want to do it. Everyone can be given a stalker bolt rifle instead, which is heavy 1 for 36-inch range at 4 strength -2 at 2 damage each. My god, these guys look intercessors. They're just primaris, of course they're primaris. Let's see. The sergeant can take one of the following. Instead of the bullet rifle, auto rifle, or stalker, he can take a chainsword or a flamer. If the sergeant is not equipped with a chainsword, he can additionally be equipped with one weapon from the sergeant weapon list. And for every 5 models that's equipped with a bolt rifle, auto bolt rifle, or stalker rifle, you can get a grenade launcher. The grenade launcher does the following. If the model has a grenade launcher, grenade weapons that model is equipped have a range characteristic of 30. And then for combat squads, basically you can split them up into 2 groups of 10, if 2 groups of 5, if you have 10 models. Before any units have been set up. Oop, take that shield off. Let's see. So yeah, so basically Angel of Death combat squads, for most of these squads, that's the standard loadout for their abilities. So yeah, same thing, 3 move, hit, smack, bop, bop, bop. Difference here is that their tactical squads, regular squads will have the 1 wounds, 1 attack, 7 leadership. Let's see, become 4 space marine sergeant and a regular 4 space marines can go to a maximum of 10. Everyone has pistol, bolt gun, grenades. Let's see. The sergeant can be equipped with 2 weapons from the sergeant weapon listing instead of a bolt pistol and bolt gun. He can take melt-a-bombs. If it has fewer than 10 models, 1 space marine can take one of the following. Can take a special weapon or a heavy weapon item instead of a bolt gun if it's less than 10. If it contains 10, a space marine can be equipped with a special weapon, and a space marine can be equipped with a heavy. Alright, so if you have less than 10 models, one model in that unit can take a special weapon or a heavy weapon. If you have exactly 10, you can have 2 models. Well, one model takes a heavy weapon, and then the other one takes a special weapon in that squad. And then same thing, Angel of Death, and then combat squad split to 2 groups of 5. Infiltrators. Okay, so there's 3 different profiles here. We have the Infiltrator, the Helix Adept, and the Sergeant. All of them have the same thing except the Sergeant. So everyone moves 6, everyone hits and shoots on 3s, strength and toughness is 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks. The Sergeant, however, gets a 3rd one. 7 leadership, except the Sergeant has 8, and then everyone gets 3 up armor. Alright, so the Infiltrator Sergeant gets 4 Infiltrators beside him. You can take a maximum squad of 10, and you can get 1 Helix Adept instead of an Infiltrator. Every model is equipped with a bolt pistol, a marksman bolter carbine, and grenades. Everyone also has smoke grenades. Let's see. The bolt carbine is rapid fire 1 for 12. Basically, a resolving attack with this weapon of unmodified hit scores a hit and a wound. Wow, that's actually pretty good. So, whoever, primaris, of course. So, the marksman bolter carbine, 6s, auto hit and wound. Awesome. Just auto hit wound. And that's for the whole squad. The whole squad can take it. The whole squad gets it. Alright, if this unit does not contain an Infiltrator Helix Adept, the Infiltrator can have one Infiltrator can additionally have an Infiltrator comms relay. Alright, so let's see what this does. So, obvious 2 abilities, Combat Squad, Angel of Death. The Helix Adept. At the end of your movement phase, this unit's Helix Adept can provide medical attention, so he's a medic. If the unit contains a model that lost any wounds, regains a lost wound. Otherwise, if from this unit have been destroyed, roll d6 on a 5-up, return 1 destroyed model. So he's basically a medic. Is not returned on the 4-up or less. The Infiltrator cannot shoot this turn, and as it recovers the gene seed of the fallen warrior. Each unit can be provided medical attention once a turn. Alright, So basically, Primaris, of course. If you add in Helix Adept, he basically does the Apothecary's job for that unit specifically. On 5-ups, you return a model to the unit, unless you're unable to bring the unless the model's within 1 inch or there's a restriction. It has to be within 3 inches of the Helix Adept. Has to be within coherency. 4 or less, he doesn't shoot. Combat squads. Oh, hang on. Concealed positions. I forgot. Concealed position, basically set up 9 inches away from any enemy deployment and enemy model. Omni Scramblers. Enemy units that are set up as reinforcements can't be within 12 inches of these guys as they're setting up. So, once we're battle, instead of shooting in your shooting phase, this unit can use its smoke grenades to subtract 1 against them. And then if you take the comm array, if there are any friendly Phobos captains or Phobos lieutenants on the battlefield, it's always treated as within range of their rights of battle and tactical precision ability. That is actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool when I think about it. Let me readjust the camera real quick. I do apologize for this camera quality that you guys can't see this as much. This is all I got right now, but we'll continue on. Alright, the Incursor Squad. I don't know a single thing about these guys, but these seem interesting. Let's see. Standard. 2 wounds instead of 1. 2 attacks, 3 attacks. Comes in with standard squad loadout. 1 sergeant, 4 boys, max 10. Bolt pistol, Oculus, bolt carbine, combat blades, grenades. Smoke grenades as well. He gets the bolt carbine like normal, rapid fire 1, strength 4. When resolving attack, they don't get cover. The target doesn't get cover save. The paired combat blades, 6s get additional hits. Angels of Death, and combat squads, and concealed positions, and smoke grenades. So, difference is, for these guys, the Haywire Mine. In your movement phase, 1 model from your army with a Haywire Mine that has not been primed can prime it. At any point during the model's move, place 1 Haywire Mine within 1 inch of it, more than 3 inches away from enemy models, and more than 6 inches away from other primed Haywire models. If an enemy moves within 3 inches of the primed Haywire model, roll a d6. On a 2-up, they suffer d3 mortal wounds. If it's a vehicle, it suffers d3 plus 1 mortal wounds instead. Then the primed mine is removed. The Haywire Mine is represented by the primed hardwire model, but does not count as a model for any rules or purpose. So basically, you can set up a mine. You literally just boop right there. Keep a model. Enemy walks nearby it. Boom, 2-up. It blows up on them. Very, very nice. These guys are like combat squads, or not? These guys are like freaking. These guys can set up traps. It's very cool, especially for tactical retreat. But note, has to be 6 inches away from, 3 inches away from enemy units, and 6 inches away from other mines. I'm do liking the scout. God almighty, they're making me want to buy Primaris now. Why do you do this to me? Alright, so multi-spectrum array. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in this unit, ignore hit roll modifiers and ballistic skill modifiers. Wait, what? What? Oh, okay. So, multi-spectrum array, no negatives are happen. No negatives. I ignore their -1s. I ignore +1s. I don't get affected by the ballistic skill abilities. I ignore their -1 to hits. I ignore their range. Yeah, so this goes against all those abilities that so ignore smoke grenades. Ignore the Vial Miasma. Ignore the can't touch us, can't shoot, -1 to hit if we're 12 inches away from you. Very nice. Very nice indeed. All right, scouts. My bread and butter right here. This I definitely need to look over. Contains scouts, sergeant, scouts, 10 models, bolt gun, pistol. Can take a shotgun. The sergeant can take 2 sergeant weapons instead of the bolt pistol or bolt gun. Any model equipped with one of the following is instead of the bolt gun, they can take a shotgun, sniper rifle, or combat knife. Instead of taking a bolt gun, they can take a heavy bolt or a missile launcher for one of the scouts. And then any model can have a camo cloak. If every unit has a camo cloak, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against a model in this unit while it's receiving benefit cover, gets 2 up to the save. Concealed position, combat squad, basically. Bread and butter in my company. Bread and butter. The Primaris Apothecary. So let's see. 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 4 tough, 4 strength, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, 8 leadership. Gets the Absolver bolt pistol, which is basically a 6-inch pistol at strength 5 -1. A Reductor pistol, which is a 3-inch pistol at strength 4 -3, 2 damage. So these 2 you can shoot. Make sure you make the difference between the 2 if you're within combat, or within 3. At the end of your movement phase, this model can provide medical attention to a friendly infantry or biker within 3. If they lost models, if it contains models lost any wounds, they regain D3 wounds. Otherwise, if any models from that unit has been destroyed, roll a D6 on a 4-up. You regain the lost model with 1 wound remaining. Back within unit coherency. It's on a 3 or less, can't shoot. Yeah, you can only do it once per turn. So you can't, same thing as the other one, you can't use 2 apothecaries to heal up 1 unit. Each apothecary can only fix 1 unit. Each unit can only be attended to by 1 apothecary per turn. And then regular apothecary, same thing, 4 wounds. Ooh. 3 toughness, yak. Knife 4 up. If it's 3 or less, it can't shoot. Alright, the Primaris. Now we're in our elite choices. Primaris Ancient. Let's see, equipped with a bolt pistol, bolt rifle, frag, crack. Let's see. He has the Angels of Death, and then he has a banner. Gets +1 leadership to the chapter units within 6 of any friendly ancients. When an infantry or biker is destroyed within 6 inches of him, roll D6. On a 4-up, you can either shoot with its ranged weapon, as if we're shooting, or make a melee attack as if it was the fighting. Whichever is appropriate. Company Ancient, same thing, but instead of a bolt pistol or a bolt gun, instead of taking a bolt pistol, you can switch it for a bolt gun, a combi weapon, or melee weapon, or another pistol. Astartes banner, +1 to your leadership, and then same thing, roll D6. If something falls, 4-up, you can fight or shoot as if it was the appropriate phase. Company Champion has a bolt pistol, has a 2 ups, 2s to hit, 3s to shoot, 4s across the board, leadership 8. He comes with a master-crafted power sword, bolt pistol, grenades, and a combat shield. Let's see, crafted power sword, strength 4 because it's user, -3, 2 damage. Bolt pistol, the loadouts. Let's see, honor or death. He must perform heroic invention, and he can do it within 6 inches. If any of the enemy units are characters, he can move 6 inches, as long as it ends closer to the character. The combat shield gives him 5-up. The martial superiority, when he's within an inch of enemy characters, at the start of the fight phase, he can fight first even if it didn't charge. If enemy units has charged or has similar ability, then alternate choosing units to fight with. And the Superb Duelist, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by him against a character, reroll hits and reroll wounds. So yeah, company champion is character hunters in combat. very useful for your for the Blood Angels, because there's a whole special company that focuses. I think it was like their black. It was like their Death Angels or something. Their Death Company in the Blood Angels. They're like a special sergeant that will reroll hits and wounds for all Death Company. Not Death Watch, there's Death Company within the Blood Angels. I can't remember their exact name, but it might be going crazy. Who knows? Someone in the comments will more than likely remind me and tell everyone what it's supposed to be. Alright, company veterans. One veteran, one sergeant, one regular veteran. Contain up to 3, so make it 5 for 8 power rating instead of 3. Let's see, pole pistol, chainsword, frag, crack. The sergeant of the veteran company can take 2 weapons from the sergeant list instead of a bolt pistol and chainsword. Any model can take one of the following instead of the pistol: the melee weapon or pistol. Any Space Marine veteran can be equipped with one of the following instead of a chainsword: the bolt gun, a combi weapon, a melee weapon, a pistol, or a special weapon. And any model can take a storm shield instead of a bolt pistol or chainsword. So yeah, same thing. Angel of Death, storm shield ability for 3-up invuln. Command Squad Bodyguard. When a friendly chapter character model within 3 inches of a unit would lose any wounds as a result of an attack made against that model, he can do an intercept. So roll a d6, do it on a 2-up. The model does not lose wounds, but instead the company veteran takes a mortal wound. And you can only do 1 attempt to intercept each attack. So if you roll a 2-up and it fails, the wound goes through to the HQ or character. Alright, servitors. Squad of 4 servitors. Up to 2 servitors can take a heavy bolter or multi-melter or plasma gun instead of servo arms. It has 5 movement, 5 weapons, 5 ballistics, 3 tough, 3 strength, 1 wound, 1 attack. And they have the mind lock ability. If they're within 6 inches of a tech marine, their weapons and ballistics go to 4-ups, and their leadership becomes 9. Let's see, if you have an ancient in Terminator armor, he has the same rules as before. He has his banner, leadership, +1 leadership. On a 4-up, if a model dies, they can fight or shoot again. They teleport in, and they have the Crux Terminus, which is the 5-up invuln. Standard Terminator squad. Let's see. 3's to hit, 3's to shoot, 2 wounds, 2 attack, 3 attack, 9 leadership, 80 leadership, 2-up armor. Comes in, squad of 5, can make it a 10 man squad, have Stormbolter, Power Sword, and everyone. The sergeant is equipped with Stormbolter and Power Sword. All the Terminators is equipped with Stormbolter and Power Fist. So for every 5 units, so every 5 models in the unit, Terminator can be equipped with a Terminator heavy weapon instead of a Stormbolter. Terminator Sergeant can have a Teleport Homer, which we'll come over in a second. Combat Squads, Teleport Strike, 5-up invuln because they're Terminators. The Homer, place 1 deployed Homer anywhere on the battlefield when you set it for the first time. While the deployed Homer is on the battlefield, the model can perform emergency teleport instead of moving in your movement phase. If it does, at the end of the phase, remove that unit from the battlefield and set up wholly again within 6 inches of deployed teleport Homer. That Homer is then removed, and the teleport Homer if that Homer is ever within 9 inches of an enemy units, remove that deployed teleport Homer from play. It's represented by the model, but doesn't count as a model for any purpose of the units. But basically, it's pretty useful if, let's say you have an idea that the enemy might pop around your backside, so you'll put the model down. So you put like Homer down when you deploy your main Terminators. And if you want to jump on an enemy, You could, during your move, at the end of movement phase, you blink them to a zone, like let's say one map to the other, blink them to that zone. However, if the enemy gets within 9, the teleporter disappears, due to it being danger close. Alright, Terminator Assault Squad. 5 movement, 3s to hit for both types, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 3 attacks. Has squad of 5, can go to 10. Everyone's equipped with lightning claws. And everyone's equipped with claws. However, you can give up the lightning claws for a thunder hammer and a storm shield. And then the sergeant has a teleport homer. Same thing. Combat squads, teleport, 5 up armor, 3 up 5 up invuln, 3 up invuln for storm shields. Alright, but I should also go ahead over the weapon for these two. If you do the lightning claws, it'll be strength 4, -2, 1 damage. If they have 2 of the weapons, then it fights an additional attack using this profile. And you can reroll wounds. For the thunder hammer, you -1 to hit. But it'll be ×2 strength, -3 AP, 3 damage each. Alright, so the Capricci Terminator Squad has a Capricci Sergeant, Terminators, can max 10, equipped with Combi Bolter, Power Sword, and everyone is equipped with Combi Bolter, Power Fist. For every 5 unit models in this unit, 1 Terminator can be equipped with a Heavy Flamer instead of the Combi Bolter. Any model equipped with 1 Lightning Claw can take a Lightning Claw instead of the Combi Bolter. Any Terminator can be equipped with a Power Fist instead of a Chainsaw. Or instead of taking a Power Fist, you can take a Chain Fist and a Lightning Claw. Or a Lightning Claw. Any Sergeant can be equipped with a Power Sword. If you can give a Power Sword for the Chain Fist, Lightning Claw, or Power Fist. And then the Sergeant can take a Grenade Harness. Which, basically, the Grenade Harness is a Assault D6 with a Strength 4 -1 at 12 inches. And then, like normal, teleports, combat squads, 4 up invuln, half the advance. Tartaros Terminator Squad. You get 6 move, 3 to attack, 3 to shoot, yak, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 3 attacks, 2 up armor. Can take up to 10 for 9 power extra. Is equipped with Combi Bolter, Power Sword for the Sergeant. Everyone else has the Bolter and Power Fist. Alright, so every 5 models, 1 Terminator can take give up the Combi Bolter for a Flamer or Reaper autocannon. Any Terminator can take 2 combat Lightning Claws instead of the Power Fist and the Combat Bolter. Any Terminator can take a Chain Fist instead of the Power Fist. Any Terminator can take 2 Lightning Claws instead of the Bolter or Power Sword. The Sergeant can take Lightning Claws instead of the Bolter and the Power Sword. The Sergeant can take a Chain Fist or a Power Fist instead of your Power Sword. Can give up the Combi Bolter for a Plasma Blaster or a Volt Kite Charger. And for every 5 models that this unit contains, 1 can take a Grenade Harness. Alright, so real quick, main things that not everyone knows is the Reaper autocannon has a Strength 7, Heavy 4, 36-inch range, -1 AP. The Volt Kite Charger, 15-inch, Heavy 2, 5, Strength 0, 2 damage, and if you roll 6s, you do an additional mortal wound. Difference between a Chain Fist and a Power Fist. Basically, the Chain Fist has 1 more AP and only 2 damage instead of the D3 damage. Both will be -1s to hit. And then Terminator stuff. Marine ability, squad, split the squad, 5 up invuln, teleport down. The Vanguard Veterans. Oh god, I'm not even halfway there either, that's the sad part. Vanguard Veterans. 6 inches, 3s, basic loadouts for Space Marines. Can start off with 5, 1 sergeant, 4 boys, can make a max of 10. chainsword, pistol, frag, crack. The sergeant can take a storm shield or take 2 of the following instead of a bolt pistol and a chainsword. So a relic blade, pistol, or a melee weapon. Any Space Marine veteran can take 1 of the following and have a storm shield, or be equipped with 2 of the following instead of the bolt pistol and the chainsword: a pistol or a melee weapon. So either a storm shield and and the pistol and melee, or 2 pistols and melee. A model can be equipped with melta bombs. Every model can have a jump pack for 1 power rating. If it contains 5, do 2 power rating. No, if it's a squad of 5, it's 1 power rating. If it's a squad of 10, it's plus 2 power rating. So, if you do a squad of 5, it'll be 7 power. If you do a squad of 10, it'll be 14. Makes sense. And then usual combat squad, 3-up invuln, drop down for this guy. Stern Guard veteran. Basic loadout. Standard squad size. Standard plus squad size. A bolt pistol with a special issue bolt gun and then grenades. The bolt gun will do the following: has 30 inches for shots, has rapid fire 1, strength 4, minus 2 AP, 1 damage. The sergeant can take 2 weapons from the sergeant list instead of his bolt gun and bolt pistol. He can be equipped with 1 of the sergeant weapons and give up his pistol for 1 of the sergeant weapons. Up to 2 Space Marine veterans can be equipped with 1 of the following if they give up their bolt gun: a heavy flamer, a heavy weapon, or something from the special list. Any Marine can be equipped with a combi weapon instead of their bolt gun. And then Marine ability, combat squads. A dreadnought. The ancients of the chapter. Alright, so they move at 6. Standard loadout: shoot, 3 to hit, 3 to shoot, 6 strength, 7 toughness, 8 wounds, 4 attacks, 8 leadership. They take assault cannons, storm bolter, and a dreadnought combat weapon. Basically, so assault cannons, heavy 6, 24-inch range, 6 strength, 1 minus AP, 1 damage. Heavy flamer, or if you choose it, your heavy flamer, your missile launcher, storm bolter, dreadnought weapon. Can be equipped with 1 weapon, can give up your assault cannon for any of the heavy weapons for the dreadnoughts. Can be equipped with a missile launcher instead of a combat weapon and a storm bolter. Can take a heavy flamer instead of a storm bolter. Marine ability: can explode on a 6, 3 inches, takes D3 mortal wounds, and then smoke launchers. The Ironclad Dreadnought: same movement, same weapons, shots, strength, 8 toughness instead of the 7, 8 wounds, 4 attacks, 8 leadership, 3 armor. He comes with a melta gun, a storm bolter, a combat weapon, and a seismic hammer. Alright, so main thing is he can take a hurricane missile, hurricane bolter, melta gun, storm bolter, dreadnought chain fist, combat weapon, and then the seismic hammer. Seismic hammer is pretty interesting because it's times 2 strength, so 12, minus 4 with 5 damage, but it's a minus 1 to hit. So you can take a chain fist instead of the seismic hammer, which for the chain fist, basically, it's just 1 less damage. So it's 1 less damage, but you can hit it on 3s instead of 4s. You can take a hurricane bolter instead of the combat weapon and storm bolter, which is basically rapid fire 6 as a regular storm bolter. So 12 shots at 12 inches, or 12 shots at 24 because you are a dreadnought due to the storm bolter rule. Equipped with heavy flamer instead of a melta gun. Can take 2 hunter killer missiles, which are basically once per battle shots, heavy 1s, 48-inch range, strength 8, -2 AP, d6 damage. And then you can have ironclad assault launchers, which is below here. The Angel of Death. Wrecker. If this model is equipped with 2 melee weapons, then when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, reroll hits of 1. So, assault launchers. If it has ironclad assault launchers after it finishes a charge move, select an enemy unit within 1, roll d6. On a 4-up, that enemy suffers d3 mortal wounds. Has the smoke launchers and blows up on a 6 for 3 inches for d3 wounds. Venerable Dreadnought. Has 6-inch movement, 2s to hit, 2s to shoot, 6 strength, 7 toughness, 8 wounds. Takes assault cannon, stormbolter, dreadnought combat weapon. Can switch out for a heavy weapon instead of the assault cannon. Can take a missile launcher instead of the combat weapon and storm launcher. Can take a heavy flamer instead of the stormbolter. And then same thing, marine, smoke, explodes. Only difference is this one takes he has a 6-up feel no pain. Yeah, so whenever he loses a wound goes through your armor and you fail your save. You roll d6 on a 6. It's not, the wound is ignored. It can help out. Any wounds. It doesn't matter if it's a regular wound or if it's a mortal wound. Alright, next is the Contemptor Dreadnought. Now we're moving into charts. I think this is the backpack one. So, his chart is the following. Scaling movement, weapons, and ballistics. So, 6 to 10 is 9, 2, 2. If it's 3 to 5, he moves at 6 and hits and shoots on 3s. If he's at his last 2 health, he moves at 4s and hits and shoots on 4s. Otherwise, he has 7 strength, 7 toughness, 10 wounds, 4 attacks, 8 leadership, 3-up armor. He comes with a combi bolter, multi-melta, and dreadnought combat weapon. You can forgo the multi-melta for a Kier's pattern assault cannon. So, a Kier's pattern assault weapon does the following. It is 24 inches with a heavy 6, strength 7, -1 AP. He has the same thing, marine ability. He has a 5-up invuln thanks to automatic shielding. And he explodes on a 6 with 3 inches for 3 damage. Max 3 damage. A Redemptor Dreadnought, which is this guy right here earlier in the year. Or I think last year. He has the same scaling thing. So 17 to 13, which is 8, 3, 3. Yeah, movement, weapons, ballistics. 4 to 6 is 6, 4, 4. And then 1 to 3 is 4, 5, 5. He comes with 2 Fragstorm launchers, grenade launchers, a heavy flamer, heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, and a Redemptor fist. Alright, so I'm gonna go over his options and then I'll go over the abilities. He's equipped. He can take a Icarus pod. He can take a onslaught Gatling cannon instead of a heavy flamer. He can take a macro plasma incinerator instead of the Gatling cannon, and he can be equipped with 2 storm bolters instead of 2 frag launchers. Keynote: he already comes with 2 grenade launchers, a heavy flamer, and a heavy onslaught cannon. You can give up the onslaught cannon for 2 heavy flamers, or you can give up the current Gatling cannon he has for a macro cannon, for a macro plasma incinerator. Or you can also give the grenade launcher for storm bolters. So, the grenade launcher is assault d6, strength 4, 18-inch range. The heavy flamers, 8-inch, heavy d6, strength 5, auto hits. Gatling cannon, the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, which was what he equipped it with. He has 30 inches, heavy 12, 5 strength, -1 AP. The Icarus rocket pod that he can take for free for some points
is 24 inches, heavy D3, 7 strength, -1, 2. And if you're attacking fly units, you add 1 to your hits. If not, take a -1. If you go for the if you get rid of the heavy onslaught and take the macro incinerator, it's basically a plasma. 36-inch range, heavy D6 for both. If you do standard, strength 8. If you supercharge it, strength 9. Main difference is between the two is the strength that it gets and then the damage it provides. If you supercharge it, however, you'll take a mortal wound if you roll a 1 for any of your shots. If you give up your flamer, you'll get heavy 6 shots, strength 5, 1, -1. Storm bolters instead of your grenade launchers, basically rapid fire 4 instead, rapid fire 2, so 4 shots because you're a dreadnought. And then your redemptor fist, your strength is 14, -3 d6 damage. Hitting on 3s, 4s, or 5s. And then you basically are the Angel of Death, and you can explode for 6 inches for d6 wounds. Oh, here's the tactical warsuit. The new Johnny Jumper. Well, not Johnny Jumper in particular, but most of y'all get what I mean. Alright, so the Invictor Tactical Warsuit has scaling movement, weapons, and shooting. He has strength 7, 6 toughness, 13 wounds, 4 attacks. From 7 to 13, 10 inches at 3s. 4 to 6 is 8 inches for 4s, and then 1 to 3 is for 5s, 6 to 5s. He comes with the Fragstorm Grenade Launcher, a Heavy Bolter, Incendium Cannon, and 2 Iron Hail Heavy Stubbers with an Invictor Fist. Let's see, he can take 2 Iron Hall Cannon, he can take a Twin Iron Hall Cannon instead of a Incendium Cannon. So, what does this mean? The Incendium Cannon is a 12-inch weapon with heavy 2d6 that auto hits. With the Iron Hail autocannon, the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber for the replacement is the Twin Iron Hail Cannon, which is 48 inches, heavy 6, 7 strength, -1 AP, 2 damage each. And then with the 2 Iron Hail Heavy Stubbers he gets, basically it's 36-inch range with heavy 3 each at 4 strength and a -1. Then his Invictor Fist is ×2 strength, so 14 at a -3 for 3 damage. Hilariously enough, same thing as the previous one. He explodes for 6 inches on a 6 at 6 inches for d6 mortal wounds. You can conceal position, and then he has a heavy sidearm. While he's within 1 inch of any enemy units, the Heavy Bolter has a type characteristic of Pistol 3. So the Heavy Bolter that he has equipped, you can shoot in close combat. Interesting. Very interesting. So that's a lot of firepower right there. Alright, so we have our Reavers, which I think are our terror tactics. Yeah, terror troops. Basically a squad of 5, max is 10. Everyone has a bolt carbine, heavy pistol, grenades, and shock grenades. Key phrase. Heavy frag, crack, and shock. Basically, bolt carbine is assault 2 with 4 strength. The heavy bolt pistol is a pistol, strength 4, -1 AP. Combat knife does 1 additional attack. The shock grenades is grenade D3. Can only target infantry. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, if the hit is scored, don't wound. Instead, the target is stunned. A stunned unit cannot fire Overwatch, and 1 is subtracted from hit rolls for attacks made by models in that unit. So, he's perfect to set up. This is perfect to set up for charges. Throw your grenades, stun your targets. They are left wide open to charge at and get knocked down. Every Reaver can take a combat knife instead of their bolter carbine. The Reaver Sergeant can take a combat knife Again, instead of taking the combat knife, he can take a combat knife instead of bolt or carbine or a heavy bolt pistol. Every model can take a grab shoot, and every model can take a grapnel launcher. So, as before, previously I've talked about Terror Troop before, but yeah, same thing. We'll go over it one more time. Marine ability. They can drop in because of the grab shoots at end of movement phases within 9 inches away from enemies. They do the terror tactic, so -1 to their enemy's leadership. That's within 3 inches of them. Split to 2 squads of 5. They have a grapnel launcher, so every model in this unit has a grapnel launcher. Then during deployment, you can set up behind enemy lines. If you do at the end of one of your movement phase, you can set up this unit wholly within 6 inches of any battlefield edge, but 9 inches away from any enemy models. If this unit has a grapnel launcher, then when that model moves in your movement phase, do not count vertical distance. So basically, it ignores scaling buildings. It can't fly over terrain, but it can go to a building and just go to whatever floor it needs to, which is perfect for going from building to building. We then have an aggressor squad, which is 5 movement, 3s, 4, 5 toughness, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, 4 attacks for the sergeant. Let's see. An aggressor sergeant, basically, it's like the centurion types, but a little bit smaller, I think. They come with, it's a squad of 3, can make it 6 for 5 more power. All are equipped with auto bolt storm gauntlets and a frag storm grenade launcher. Alright, so can be equipped with flame storm gauntlets instead of the bolt storm, and then 1. So you can give up your bolt storm and frag storm for a flame storm. I'll go over what the things are first. The auto bolt storm gauntlets, when you're shooting them, is 18 inches with assault 6 at strength 4. The grenade launcher is same thing, 18 inches, assault D6 at strength 4. For the bolt storm, for the melee, basically the ×2 -3 D3 damage at -1. If you give them the flamethrowers, they basically get an 8-inch shot for 2d6 at strength 4. That auto hits. Alright, so abilities, same thing as before. Marine ability, combat squad. However, there is a secondary thing. Your combat squad is if it's 6 models. So for Firestorm, when this fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot with models in this unit can shoot twice if this did not move this turn. So whatever weapon you have, if they remain stationary, both if they haven't moved this turn during both your Overwatch and your shooting phase, they shoot double shots. You have the ability to shoot twice in the turn, and they don't suffer penalty for firing and advancing. So you can advance them as fast as you want. So maximum would be 11, minimum is 5. 5 for normal. Advance max is between 6 and 11. So you can move, shoot. I don't think you can charge with them though, but they'll be pretty good. Next is the Centurion, which you can't really see as well, but the big old boy. The Centurion has 3 soldiers: the Centurion and then the Sergeant. 4 to move, 3s to hit and shoot, 5 strength, 5 toughness, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, 7 strength, 7 leadership, 8 leadership, 2 up armors. Starts as a squad of 3. Max is 6. Everyone has 2 flamers, a siege drill, a Centurion, 2 flamers and a siege drill, and then all also have assault launchers. You can give up your flamers for meltaguns, and then you can equip a hurricane bolter instead of the assault launchers. So, I'll go ahead and start off with the first one. Meltaguns are obvious, 12-inch range instead of the 8-inch auto hits. Strength 8, -4, D6, and then if you're within half distance, You roll 2d6, get rid of the lowest. The only difference, really, main difference I can point out is your siege drill, which is melee weapon at ×2, so strength 10 at -4 with 3 damage. No penalties. They get the abilities of Angels of Death and the Combat Squad for 6 to 3-mans. So, for they have Omniscope ability. If the unit contains one Centurion Sergeant, when resolving an attack mage with a ranged weapon by a model in this unit, the target does not receive the benefit of cover. So, if you split your squad up, whatever squad has the Sergeant, the models, when resolving an attack with a ranged weapon, the models with that squad sergeant can ignore cover when hitting enemy targets. And then assault launchers. If you don't give up, if you keep the assault launcher instead of going for the heavy bolter, hurricane bolter, and stick with the assault launchers. After this unit finishes a charge, you select a enemy unit within 1 inch. On a 4-up, they suffer a mortal wound. So, either you can make them melee or you can make them range, your choice. Or both. Alright, time for a drink. Fast attacks. Gotta make this a drinking game now. Alright, bike squads. Several things. We have the biker, sergeant, and the attack bike. All on 3s, all strength 4, toughness 3, and 2 wounds. The attack bike will have 4 wounds instead. Regular bikers will have 1. Sergeant and attack bike will have 2. Both the biker and the attack bike have leadership 7. Sergeants will have 8, and then 3-up armor because they're bikes. Alright, so a bike squad takes 3 units, 3 models. Sergeant, 2 bikers. Contain a max of 6. Can become a squad of 6 or squad of 8. It can also take an attack bike for 2 power. The sergeant and the regular bikers are equipped with bolt pistol, twin bolt gun, and grenades. The attack bike is equipped with a bolter, heavy bolter, pistol, heavy bolter, a twin bolt gun, a frag grenade, crack grenade. Alright, the sergeant can take a sergeant weapon instead of a pistol. Any biker can take a chainsword instead of the bolt pistol. And then 2 Space Marine bikers can take a special weapon instead of a bolt pistol. And the attack bike can take a multi-melta instead of a heavy bolter. As bikes, they'll have the Marine ability. They get the turbo boost, so instead of rolling for advance, you just make a 6. You just move 6 extra inches, and they can split up into 2 squads of 3 instead of staying as a squad of 6. Oh, hang on. Combat squads. If this contains 6 or more models, you divide them until they're 2 equal units. Perfect. Assault squads. Let's see. Basically, your jump squad. Starts off as a squad of 5. Standard loadout, 6. 3 hits, 3 shoots, 4 strength, 4 toughness, 1 wound, 1 attack for normal, 2 because 1 was a sergeant, 8 leadership because 1's a sergeant, 3-up armor. Squad starts off at 5, can move to 10, and then everyone gets a bolt pistol, chainsword, and grenades. The sergeant can take a pistol, can give up a pistol for any melee weapon or a pistol. The sergeant can take a weapon from the melee list instead of a chainsword. The sergeant can take a combat shield. The sergeant can also take melta bombs. 2 Space Marines can be equipped with plasma pistols instead of the bolt pistol, or a flamer instead of their bolt pistol and a chainsword. So they can give up a pistol for a plasma, or they can give up a pistol and a chainsword for a flamer. Every unit of 5, 1 can take an eviscerator instead of their standard loadout of a pistol and chainsword. And then every model can take a jump pack, +1 power rating if it's a 5 squad, or Yeah, +1 if it's 5, +2 if it's 10, or +2 if it's more than 5. If everyone has a jump, if everybody has a jump pack, everyone can move 12 instead of 6, and they get the flying jump pack ability like normal. All right. So for the combat shield, the sergeant gets a 5-weapon invul. The squad can split from 10 to 5. Has the jump pack assault. And that'll be for the fast one. Right. Interceptors, flying centurions. All right. Contains 2 interceptors and a sergeant. Can go to a max of 6. Everyone's equipped with 2 assault bolters. Every model can give up their bolters for plasmas, which basically is plasma normal ability 7 or 8 with -3, 1 or 2, and if you go for the supercharge, you lose the model after shooting the weapon. Yeah, let's see. They have a movement of 10. Hits, shoots 3s, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 2 attacks, 3 attacks, leaderships, 3 up armor. They're the Angels of Death. They get the meteoric scent ability, so basically hell jumpers drop in at the end of movement. They get the crushing charge. After they finish a charge move, each model can select an enemy unit within 1, roll d6. On a 6, they suffer mortal wound. Combat squad go from 6 to 3s. Awesome. And then we have a suppressor squad, basically the flying guys that have heavy weapons. Movement of 12, 3 shots, 3 hits, 4 strength and toughness, 2 wounds each, 2 attacks, 3 attacks. Got a sergeant with 2 suppressors. Everyone is equipped with a accelerator autocannon, a pistol, and grenades. And then everybody has grav sheets. The autocannon, since it's the only different part, is a 40-inch range weapon at heavy 2 with strength 7 and -2 AP with 2 damage each. They can drop in because of a grab shoot. They can shoot smoke launchers, and they have the Angels of Death keywords abilities. They also have the ability called Suppressing Fire. If an enemy model is destroyed as a result of an attack made with an accelerated autocannon by a model in this unit, the enemy model unit cannot fire Overwatch this turn. So, when you attack a target and it manages to kill one model in that unit, they can't shoot auto. They can't do Overwatch. So perfect suppression. That way you can charge in. Same thing with the Reavers. Scout bikes. Let's see. 16-inch move, 3 attacks, 3 hit shoots, toughness 5, 2 wounds. Oh, yuck. After a while, I'm just going to start skipping things and showing you what's different between some of the stuff. Starts off squad of 3, can go to 6 or go to 9. Models can take a shotgun, bolt pistol. Models take shotguns, bolt pistol, twin bolt guns, combat knife, and grenades. The sergeant can take a sergeant weapon instead of a pistol. Any model can take a grenade launcher instead of a twin bolt gun. They turbo boost. They can split from 6 to 3 or 9 into 3 squads of 3. Yeah, that's one of the few ones that can split up into 3 groups instead of 2. Land speeders. Let's see. Has a 16-inch movement. Can shoot and hit on 3s. Strength 4, toughness 5, 6 wounds apiece, 2 attacks each. The land speeder can start off by itself, or you can put in 2 extra ones, +4 power per model. Everyone has heavy bolters. You can give them a Melta instead of heavy bolters. You can also give them a assault cannon, heavy flamer, or typhoon missile launcher. Now, key notes. It has Angel of Death rule. Everything does, no matter what. If you have 3 models in this unit, and you give them the, while contains 3 models, the unit has move characteristic of 20. So it's a squad of 3 land speeders, but they'll move at 20 inches instead of the standard 16. But 6 up, they explode. On a 6, they explode within 3 inches, suffers 1 mortal wound. Attack bikes. Takes 1 attack bike, can make a squad of 2 or a squad of 3. Everyone has pistol, bolter, heavy bolters, twin bolt gun, frag crack. Any model can take a Melta instead of a bolter, a multi-Melta instead of a bolter. They turbo boost and they have the Angel of Death keyword. Alright, now we're in our heavy support. Oh, God almighty. God, this is going to be a long video. Almost 2 hours right now. Alright, Devastator Squad. 6 move, 3 hits, 3 shots, 4s, across the board, standard Space Marine. Can be equipped with 2 weapons. From the sergeant take 2 weapons from the sergeant instead of a bolt gun. The 4 Space Marines can take a heavy weapon instead of their bolt guns. The Space Marine sergeant has the Armorum Cherub. Cherub. What? We'll look at that in a minute. Alright, Angel of Deaths. Combat squads goes from 10 to 5. So the Sigum, when you choose this unit to shoot within your shooting phase, you can select 1 Space Marine in the unit that's within 3 inches of a Space Marine sergeant. The selected model has a ballistic characteristic skill of 2s. So basically you can designate one of your models. You designate one of your models in that squad, it shoots on 2-ups. Unless there's modifiers. So other than that, it's pretty amazing. The Cherub. It's like, think a little baby, or a baby angel. If a Space Marine Sergeant has the Armorum Cherub, after a model in the unit shoots with a ranged weapon, it can reload that model's weapon. If it does, it is removed from play, and that model can immediately shoot with the ranged weapon once again. It's represented by the model, but doesn't count as a model for any rules purposes. While the unit is in the Cherub on the battlefield, the Cherub must be within 2 inches of it. So as you can see right here, it's that little baby right there with a grenade. Basically, set-in model gives you a free reload. So a free second shot. Centurion Devastators. They move at 4. They have 5 strength, 5 toughness. Shoot and hit on 3s because they're Marines, no matter what. A 2-up armor. Squad of 3 starts. Squad of 6, if you want to really put some money into it. Everyone has 2 heavy bolters and a hurricane bolter. You can take a Centurion missile launcher instead of the bolter, and any model can be equipped with one of the following instead of their bolters. They can take a grav cannon and a grav amp, or 2 las cannons. So if you get up your heavy, here's your standard loadout. The hurricane bolter is 24 inches with rapid fire 6, so that's 12 shots because you're a Centurion. Correction, you have 2 heavy bolters. So that's rapid fire. So that's 2 rapid fire 6s. So that's 24 shots from 1 Centurion because of the Angel of Death rule. The missile launcher, if you replace one of them, is 36 inches, assault D3 with 8 strength, -2 D3 damage. If you give up both your heavy bolters, you get the grav cannon grav amp, which is heavy 4, at 24 inches, strength 5, -3 AP, 1 damage. When resolving the attack made with this weapon against a unit that has a save characteristic of 3 or better, this damage is a D3 for that attack. So the grav cannon app and grav app are perfect if you want to get rid of something that has high armor but crappy toughness. Tau. Sorry, I have something in my throat. I have a buddy of mine who does Tau battle suits. There's like small ones that can move real quick. That has good armor. So these would be perfect for it. They get the Omniscope. So while the unit contains, same thing. Combat squad from 6 to 3. Angel of Death. The Omniscope, basically, same thing, gets rid of the cover save on their target. And then Decimator Protocols. You do not suffer penalties for moving and firing heavy weapons. So you can move them your 4 inches and then keep shooting every turn. Unless you advance them, then you can't shoot anything unless you have your Centurion missile launcher. But even then, they'll be at 4 up. Alright, Eliminator Squad. Boy. We still got this much more to go. Don't worry, keep going. The Eliminator, 6-inch movement, 3s hits. Basic standard Space Marines, except they're 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and then 3 toughness for the Sergeant. Starts off as squad of 3. Only 3. Every model is equipped with a pistol, sniper rifle, grenades, and then and has camel cloaks. Let's see. The Sergeant can take a Instigator Bolt Carbine or a Las Fusel instead of their sniper. Every Eliminator can be equipped with a Las Fusel instead of the sniper rifle as well. So we'll go over what we have equipped. The sniper rifle has 3 choices. You can do the Executioner round, Hyperfang round, or the Mortis round. The Executioner is a heavy one at strength 5, -1 damage, can target characters, and when resolving the attack, add +2 to the attack, to the hits. So that's minimum. So let's say standard thing, you're hitting on 2s with a buffer against -1 penalties. So Character Hunter, perfect. Hyperfang round, same thing, heavy D3, or actually if you move him, he will be hitting on 2s no matter what, unless it's like -1 to hits or something, and you moved. So Hyperfang round, this will be hits on 3s, standard shots, targets characters. Mortis round, 1 shot at -2 D3, target characters on 6s or more. On a 6 up, inflicts mortal wound on target. Oh, hang on. When resolving the attack made with this weapon, the wound roll of 6 up inflicts 1 mortal wound on target in addition to any other damage. Instigator Bolt Carbine, the assault, So if you switch out, there's the Instigator, which is a strength 4, -1, 2 damage that targets characters. If you go for the Las Fusel, it's basically a 36-inch range weapon, heavy 1 shot with 8 strength, 3 minus, and 3 damage. Alright, so abilities. Marine ability. Camel cloaks, so +2 to their cover. Guided aim. Instead of shooting in your phase, this unit's Eliminator Sergeant can guide his squad aim until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon, add +1 to the hit roll. +1 to the hit and wound roll. So this is very useful, especially if you start moving. So you can give up a shot of your sergeant to help him guide his soldiers. So go from 3 to 2 to get +1 to hits and wounds, which is very, very useful, especially when you're fighting against things with 6 or higher. So so about 6 to 9, you'll be able to hit on 4s. Covering fire. The first time the Eliminator Sergeant fires Overwatch with an Instigator Bolt Carbine, on your opponent's turn, this unit after has resolved Overwatch move as if we're the move-in phase. Alright, so if you give up, if you switch out to the Instigator, you can, wow, that's actually a dick move if you think about it. So basically, after the Overwatch has been resolved, it moves. You're hearing me right. It moves. So let's say they're just 9. Let's say the enemy drops 9 inches out. You commit your Overwatch, and then you move 6 inches. If that charge cannot meet, hang on. Let's see. Stay away from 9. Move up to 15. If that charge doesn't have bonuses, they're at SOL. They took Overwatch and they can't charge it. That's if you give up your sniper rifle for an Instigator Bolt for the sergeant. Which I'll admit, if I ever get this squad, I'm definitely going to do that. That's hit and run tactics galore. Oh my god. but it's only for the first time. So if you have multiple units surrounding you, you hit one, you move back, and another one goes for charge. You're not going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to do it again. All right. So Hellblaster Squad, basically your heavy weapons team for the Primaris. Squad of 5. Max is 10. Takes a plasma and a bolt pistol. A plasma incinerator. Correction. So can be equipped. You can give up your plasma incinerator for an assault plasma or a heavy plasma. The sergeant can take a plasma pistol instead of a bolt pistol. Abilities are the same as a generic Space Marine squads. So your plasma incinerator is basically standard plasma shot with rapid fire 1. Not heavy, not assault, rapid fire 1 with your standard plasma abilities. So 2 shots if they stand still. 2 shots within standing still for 30 or 15 inch at -4s. So if you switch out for the assault, it is 24 inches, assault 2, with a 6 for standard, -4. All of them have -4s. Supercharge, strength 7, 2 damage. Or you can go for the heavy plasma, which is basically heavy 1 at strength 8 standard, 9 for supercharge. That's basically them right there. There's not a lot of differences for some of these. All right, Thunderfire Cannon. This is my go-to right here. Basically, 3-inch move, 6-inch move for the tech gunner. Has the Thunderfire Cannon has 6 for weapons, 2 shots, 3 strength, 6 toughness, 4 wounds, 1 attack, 8 toughness, 2 leadership, 2 up armors for both. The gunner has 3 up weapons, 2 up ballistic, 5 up, 4 strength, toughness, wounds. Actually, this is pretty good. They upped my ballistic skill because it was 3s in the last book. The unit will have 1 Thunderfire Cannon, 1 gunner. The Thunderfire Cannon takes a Thunderfire Cannon. The gunner is equipped with the bolt pistol, flamer, plasma cutter, servo arms. 2 servo arms. So here's most of its thing. Basically, Thunderfire Cannon. You place it at one end of the table. 60-inch range, heavy 4d3, 5 strength, -1. Can shoot anything that's not visible. Tech Marine has basic loadouts. The only difference is 2 of his 3 attacks can be strength 8 -2, 3 damage each, but at hitting on 4s, not 3s. Let's see. You can only shoot the Thunderfire Cannon if it's being operated. At the start of the phase, each Tech Marine gunner model can operate 1 friendly unit within 3. Until the end of that phase, while it's in 3 inches of that thing, the Tech Gunner is said to be operating that Thunderfire Cannon. Wait, what? At the start of any phase, each Tech Marine gunner can operate 1 friendly chapter Thunderfire Cannon model within 3 inches of it. While it's within 3 of that Thunderfire Cannon, Tech Marine gunner is said to be operating that Thunderfire Cannon. I'm thinking the FAQ is going to say you basically just shoot with, well, no, because it's basically just an operating weapon. You shoot with this and then use the other things as well. After it's set up, must divide the crew. You basically divide the Thunderfire Cannon and the gunner into 2 units. If there are no friendly Tech Marine gunners, it doesn't have to be this one gunner who uses it. If there are no Tech Marine gunners within 6 inches, that Thunderfire Cannon is destroyed. And then at the end of the phase, basically, if the Tech Marine is within 1 inch of any vehicle, he rolled D3 lost wounds once per turn. So, what I like for my little trick I do is I'll have these 3 to get 3 of these together, and if something happens, I rearrange the Tech Marines around to go repair pull vehicles nearby to repair the vehicles, and then to operate the gun to shoot at targets. But for this particular thing, the operated artillery, basically, it says that the Tech Marine gunner is operating the Thunderfire Cannon. That's probably why they changed the ballistic skill of the gun, because the Thunderfire Cannon cannot shoot it itself. For some of those that might not understand as well, the gunner will have his weapons shoot if there's enemies nearby, but he can also operate the Thunderfire cannon. So as the main rule is, you can either shoot all your equipped weapons or one pistol or all your pistols is the main loadouts. So I can use the cannon as a weapon, I can use my flamer, and I can use my plasma cutter if I have things nearby. Otherwise, I can shoot with my pistol, I can fight with my servo arms. The Thunderfire cannon itself, I do not know. Well, I think that the problem is if the Thunderfire cannon gets within combat, it kind of it's an up in the air thing because it wouldn't be able to be shot with because there's an enemy within 1 inch. I don't know. Worst case scenario, if as my buddy that gave me this, I bought this army off of, said, if these get within melee combat, you did something wrong. All right, the hunters. These apparently are new models. All right, but it doesn't seem there's much difference. So a hunter has a scaling health, movement, ballistic, and attacks. He has so it's from 6 to 11 wounds for 10 movement, 3 ballistic, 3 attacks. 3 to 5 is 4 up, 3 D3 attacks. 1 to 2 is 3 movement, 5 up, 1 attack. He gets a Sky Spear missile launcher. You can also give him a Hunter Killer, and you can also give him a Storm Bolter. Buggered my neck. Let's see. So, Sky Spear missile launcher, anti-air right off the bat. Basically, +1 if you're shooting flying units. Actually, no, this is better. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, you can re-roll the hit roll, and you can add 1 to the hit if it targets a fly unit. So it's better than most Icarus cannons. Because Icarus cannons, you must target a fly unit, otherwise you -1. But other than that, basically, good 60-inch shots at ballistic skill 3, 4, 5. Unless it's an air unit, then it's like a 2, 3, 4 shot. Strength 9, -3. It's a nice Strength 9 weapon that can be used for anything. And then Hunter Killer is your once per battle thing, as well as a Storm Bolter for the smaller things. And then it'll have a simple loadout, the Angels of Death, the Explode rule on 6 inches for D3, and then a Smoke Launcher. We then have a Stalker, which is same chart, move, ballistic, attack, 2 Icarus cannons. These are vehicles, by the way. So it will, from 6 to 11, it's 10 move, 3 ballistic, 3 attack. Yeah, same thing as before. Same thing as the Hunter before. Except it has 2 Icarus Storm Cannons, which has the thing I said earlier. Heavy 3, Strength 7, -1. Add 1 to the hit if it's a fly, otherwise you -1 to hit. So basically anti-air only. Otherwise, hitting on 2. Depending on the price, you might if it's a lot of anti-air or like flying units, definitely use the Stalker, like especially against the Eldar, the Dark Eldar, and the Tau, because most of their battle suits will be flying. Most of the battle suits you want to deal with will have fly, so this will work well against them. Hunter, otherwise the Hunter is a good anti-armor, specifically just for the Sky Spear missile, and then it just gets better if it's a flying unit. But yeah, otherwise, same thing. Hunter Killer Missile, Storm Bolter, Explodes, and then Smoke Launcher. Now we get to the good vehicles. The Whirlwind. It has a Vengeance Launcher. The scaling will be movement, ballistic, attack. So 6 to 11, 12, and 3. 3 to 5, 12, 3, 3. 3 to 5 is 6, 4, D3. 1 to 2 is 3, 5, and 1. You can give up your Castilian. You can take a Castilian launcher instead of the Vengeance launcher, which basically I'll go over in a minute. You can also take Hunter Killer and then a Storm Bolter. So your both weapons. So here's the Castilian and the Vengeance. The Castilian is 72 inches with heavy D2, 2d6 at strength 6, and you can target. basically, and you can target. Oh, hang on. So, for both these launchers, both are 72 inches. Difference between these two particular is the Castilian that you can switch out. It's heavy 2d6, so it's good against infantry at strength 6. So anything toughness 5 or less. So basically heavy infantry and less with 1 damage if it's like 1 wound stuff. But then you'll want multiple shots, so it's like max 12 shots. Otherwise, you can go take the anti-armor whirlwind basically at 72 inches for 2d3 shots, strength 7, -1 armor with 2 wounds each. So this is good for long range shots. It just depends if you want to aim for heavy infantry or armor. And then same thing, Angel's Death Explode missile launcher. Predator. Basically comes with an autocannon. Scales just the same way. Same thing, same scale. Strength 6, toughness 7, 11 wounds, yak, yak, yak. Alright, so comes equipped with the Predator autocannon. You can take a twin las cannon instead of the autocannon. You can add on 2 heavy bolters or 2 las cannons. You can give it a hunter-killer missile, and you can give it a storm bolter. And then, if, like I said, for these remaining ones, abilities are the exact same. Angel of Death, Explode, smoke launchers. For the Vindicator, it comes with a let me go over the weapon real quick. So for the Predator autocannon, it's heavy 2d3, strength 7, -1, 3 damage. Standard tank weapon. You can go for a las cannon, which is strength 9, -3, d6. It's nice if you want to focus on stronger, more vehicle heavy thing. If you want to do like 3s or 4s for the stronger stuff, like Gorknots or other Predators and other medium sized to light vehicles. Vindicator. It comes with a Demolisher cannon. Same scale as before, same ability differences. This is a bit tougher at toughness 8. Let's see. Demolisher cannon is a 24-inch weapon with heavy d6 at strength 10, -3 d6 damage. So this is your heavy. This is your anti-vehicle, this is designed for your heavier weaponry, like your knights, your tanks, everything, all anti armor. You can take a hunter killer, and then you can take a storm bolter to pick off the small stuff. Finally, you have your Land Raider, which is basically your transport troop, which I'll go over in a minute. Comes with 2 heavy bolters, 2 las cannons. Scaling will go as follows. For 9 to 16 is 10 movement, 3 ups, 6 tacks. 5 to 8 is 5 inch, 4 up, 6 d6, and then 1 to 4 is 3 inches, 5 up, 1 attack. It comes with 2 heavy bolters and 2 twin las cannons. So basically, just the heavy bolter to go against the infantry, the las cannons to get a better chance in taking care of your heavy infantry, and then some minor anti-vehicle stuff. So you can take a hunter killer, you can take a storm bolter, you can take a melta. Helps your loadout. Angel of Death smoke launcher blows up everything within 6, takes d6, and then it has the power of the machine spirit, so you can move and shoot your heavy weapons with no problems. The model has a transport capacity of 10 infantry. The Terminators and jump packs count as 2 models, and the Centurions take 3, and Primaris no Primaris allowed for the transports. The Land Raider Crusader is a single model equipped with the Land Raider Crusader. Basically, it's upgraded version right here. It comes with your it's a bigger troop choice, but it's also a lot more powerful. It comes with the Hurricane Bolters and Twin Assault Cannons. You can give it a Hunter Killer Missile, give it a Storm Bolter, give it a Multi-Melta. 2 Hurricane Bolters, which is basically Rapid Fire 6, Strength 4, 0 AP. 0 AP. Basically standard anti-infantry to get closer, And then your twin assault cannon is heavy 12, strength 6. So good for heavy infantry. Pelting away that, pinging away the stuff. Heavy weapon stuff, good. Frag launchers, makes a charge, a 4-up. Enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds. One of them. Smoke launchers, explodes, 6 inches, D6. Can transport 16, and then same thing before. Jump pack Terminator counts as 2, Centurion is 3. Primaris is not allowed. And then Crusader, we'll move on to our Land Raider Redeemer. Basically has a Flamestorm cannon, twin assault cannon. Basically can take a Hunter Killer, Stormbolt, or Melty Melta. So, difference is Flamestorm cannon has heavy D6, 6 strength, auto hits, flamers. It's your big old flaming transport. The twin assault cannon is basically standard heavy D6, heavy 12. Has the Angel of Death, Powered Machine Spirit, Frag Assault Launchers. Gets your Smoke Launcher, and then explodes. Has a transport capacity of 12 instead of the 16 as the Crusader. But it's just basically designed just to get close, burn your target, and keep going. Repulsor Executioner. The Repulsor Executioner is a single model with 2 Fragstorm grenade launchers, a heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, a macro plasma incinerator, 2 storm bolters, twin heavy bolters, twin Icarus heavy stubber, and then auto launchers. Well, that's a mouthful. We'll go over its scaling real quick. So same thing as previous one. So we don't have to deal with that much. So let's go over what it has first. It has the Fragstone grenade launcher, which is 18-inch range, assault D6, 4 strength. The heavy onslaught cannon, which is the heavy range 30, heavy 12, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. Macro plasma incinerator, which is your standard plasma, heavy D6 at 36-inch range, either 8 or 9, -4, 1 or 2 damage. If you're standard or charged. The 2 storm bolters, which basically 2 rapid fire 2 weapons, strength 4. 2 twin heavy bolter, which is range 36, heavy 6, strength 5, -1. A twin Icarus Iron Hails heavy stubber, which is 36-inch range, heavy 6, 4, -1, and then up +1 for flies, -1 for knots. Also, instead of taking your plasma incinerator, you can take a heavy laser destroyer, which is your heavy laser destroyer. It is 72-inch range, heavy 2, 10 strength, -4 AP, 66 damage, and resolving the attack. And the resolving the attack, minimum damage is 3. Minimum damage will be 3 no matter what. Then, let's see, so that will be Plasma Incinerator for the 2. And then auto launchers. The rocket pod. You can take a heavy stubber, and then you can also take a rocket pod. The heavy Icarus, the Iron Hail heavy stubber, which is that. The Icarus rocket pod, which is here, basically same thing, anti-air. If you want to take it, Iron Hail heavy stubber is basically strength 4 stubber. All right, so abilities, very a lot of abilities for its power rating. So Angel of Death has the optics. If it does not move or moves less than half, which basically is 5, 2, or 1. You can shoot with your heavy laser destroyer and macro plasma twice in the following. So basically, you can shoot your main gun twice, and it must target the same unit. You can't divide it. So if you don't move or move less than half, you can hit your target twice. Let's see, the repulsor field. If any units within this ability are chosen as targets, subtract 2 from the charge roll. Wait, what? Oh, alright, so basically, if you charge the repulsor, you -2 from the charge roll. Distances, the hover tank distances are always measured to and from the hull, not the base. It has the power of the machine spirit, so it ignores the firing penalties. The auto launchers, instead of shooting in your shooting phase, it can use its auto launchers until the start of your next shooting phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against this model, subtract 1. Huh? Alright, basically it's a smoke launchers, and then it explodes. It can take 6 models of Primaris. It can take 6 Primaris infantry models. Each Mark X Gravis will take 2 spaces, and you can't transport jump models. So this is your Primaris only transport. Let's see. Then we have our standard transport units, which will be the Rhino, scaling movement of 12-6-3, ballistics of 3-4-5, attacks 3-D-3-1, from 6 to 10, 3 to 5, 1 to 2. Has a Stormbolter. You can give it a 100 kilo missile. You can give it a Stormbolter. You can give it it has the Angel of Death ability, smoke launchers, has explodes, and then it has the self-repair ability. It's always a fun time trying to watch your enemy kill something that just keeps coming back. On a 6-up though. It can take 10 models. However, it cannot take jump. You can only take infantry models, but it can't take jump, Terminator, Primaris, or Centurions. The Razorback comes with a heavy bolter. You can switch out its heavy bolter for a twin las cannon, twin assault cannon, and you can give it 100 kilo missile and a Stormbolter. Let's see what else is there. And then has explode for 6 inches for D3. Can take 6, but can't transport anything else, any of the other specialty ones. And then same scaling as the other one. We have a drop pod, which is a single model equipped with a Stormbolter. Basically, you can also take a Deathwind launcher instead of a Stormbolter. So for the Deathwind launcher, it'll be 12 inches at Salt D6 at Strength 5, or you can do a Stormbolter at Rapid Fire 2 for Strength 4. Up to you. So Assault, Drop Pod Assault. During deployment, you can set this model up along with any units marked on it in orbit instead of setting up in the battlefield. If you do, at the end of one of your movement phases, you can set up this model anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from the enemy models. Any models that embarked on it must immediately disembark and set up more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. This model and any units embarked on it are exempt from the tactical reserved match play rule. That's a specific thing right there. And then once it is set up, it cannot move. Can bring in infantry models, but cannot bring in jump, Terminator, Primaris, or Centurions. Then we have our Land Speeder Storm, which has the following abilities. Basically, it comes with a Cerberus launcher and a heavy bolter. Basically, Strength 4, heavy D6 weapon for the Cerberus launcher, and then heavy bolter, standard, heavy 3, Strength 5 weapon. Angel of Death rule. It is open-topped, so everything that's embarked inside it can shoot, but it suffers all the restrictions and modifier that apply to the machine. So same thing. If it can't shoot if it fell back, you can't shoot it except with pistols. If it's within 1 inch of an enemy unit, and so on and so on. And then a special note that they put in, embarked models cannot shoot if this model falls back, even though the Land Speeder Storm itself can. And then it has Explode, and then carries 5 Scout models, specifically Scout Infantry. Next we have the Repulsor. It is a single model equipped with Heavy Onslaught Cannon, Icarus, Heavy Stubber, Icarus, Iron Hail, Heavy Stubber, 2 Crack Storm Grenade Launchers, 2 Storm Bolters, twin Heavy Bolters. This is a lot of shit I'm going to have to go over. Let's start off simple. Yeah, Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon, Heavy 12, 30-inch range, Strength 5. Iron Hail, the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber, which is the 36-inch range, Heavy 3, Strength 4, -1. The Icarus Iron Hail Heavy Stubber, 36-inch range, Heavy 3, Strength 4, -1, +1 to fly, -1 if not. the Crack Storm grenade launchers, 2 of them. So 18-inch Assault 1, so that'll be Assault 2, Strength 6, -1, D3 damage. Storm Bolters, so Rapid Fire 2, so 2 of them. And then a Twin Heavy Bolter, which is 36-inch range, Heavy 6, Strength 5, -1. And then it has Auto Launchers, which is down here. You can take a Twin Las Cannon instead of your Twin Heavy Bolter. You can take a Las Talon instead of your Heavy Onslaught Cannon, which does 24-inch range, Heavy 2, Strength 9. Your choice if you want more shots or stronger or make it anti-armor. Can be equipped with an Onslaught Gatling Cannon instead of an Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. So you can give up your Heavy Stubber to make it a Heavy 6 at 24-inch range for a Strength 5. You can take Frag Storm Launchers instead of your Storm Bolters. So you have your Crack and you have your Frag. Crack is your Assault 1. Frag is the D6. Instead of the D6 at Strength 4 instead of Assault 1 at instead of that. You can and that you're giving up your auto launchers. You can also be equipped with an Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. So you can get an additional Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. Abilities are as follows. You got your hover tank, so measurement to hull. If you keep your auto launchers, basically your smokes. You have your repulsor field, so it can take -2 to charging against them. Ignores the heavy weapon penalties. Blows up. Has 6 inches and a D6 mortal wounds. Can carry 10 Primaris infantry. The Gravis is two models and can't transport jumps. Alright, Impulsor. 2 Storm Bolters comes with. And then scaling range is like from 6 to 11, 14 movement, 3 ballistic, 3 attacks, and then scales down, same thing. 14, 7, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3, D3, 1. Automatically comes with Storm Bolters. You can give it an Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. You can give it 2 Frag Storm grenades, launchers instead of your Storm Bolters. You can have a Shield Dome or an Orbital Comms Relay, or be equipped with a Becca Missile Array or an Iron Hail Scowl Talon Array. That's a lot of things. Alright, so start off simple. Shield Dome, which is an ability. An Orbital Comms Array, which is also an ability. And then finally, or you can give it its weapon, which is a Bacchus Missile Array. It's a 3 option thing, so Crack Missile, Frag Missile, or Icarus Missiles. Those are obvious. Or the Iron Hail Scowling Array, which is 36-inch range, Heavy 6, and basically +1 against fly, -1 against non-flies. Abilities are as follows. Angel of Death, Hover Tank, Repulsor Field, since we've gone over this multiple times. It's an assault vehicle. After this model moves in your movement phase, if it did not advance, any units embarked on it aboard can disembark. Units that do so can't be chosen to charge. So it all depends on what you want. If you want to advance your vehicle, you can. Otherwise, you can move it normally and then have your boys hop out. But you can't charge with them. So there's the counterattack to it. Let's see. Next is the shield. If you give it a Shield Dome, it'll be a 4-up invul. If you give it the Comm Relay, in your shooting phase, one model from your army with an Orbital Comm Relay that has not been used in the battle can call an Orbital Barrage. Select a point on the battlefield and roll d6 for each unit within d6 of that point, subtracting 1 from the result if it's a character that's being rolled for. On 4-ups, they suffer d3 mortal wounds. And then when it explodes, it's 6 inches at d6. Can transport 6 Primaris infantry. Can't transport jump or mark X Gravis. All right. Next is the flyers. All right. Stormhawk Interceptor it's movement ballistic attacks. So 6 to 10 wounds at minimum 20s to 60. Alright, so here's its wound charts. It is 6 to 10, 3 to 5, 2 to 1. For movement is 20 to 6, 20 to 40, or 20 to 25. The 20 beforehand is minimum move. If it does not move this particular movement, then it will automatically crash, which it'll show down here lower. Ballistics is 3, 4, 5. Attacks is 3, D3, 1. It comes with 2 assault cannons, 2 heavy bolters, and an Icarus storm cannon. Instead, you can replace its heavy. You can replace its heavy bolter for a Skyhammer missile launcher or a Typhoon missile launcher, and you can equip it with a Las Talon instead of a storm cannon. Let's see. We'll start off simple. So giving up the heavy bolters. Yeah, standard heavy bolters. You can give it a Skyhammer missile launcher, which is 60-inch range, heavy 3, anti-air weapon. Yeah, and then you can give it a Icarus Talon, which is basically heavy 2, strength 9, minus 3, d6, instead of the Icarus Storm Cannon, which is basically your anti-air as well. Let's see. It's an Angel of Death. It's airborne. You can't charge with this model, and this model can only be targeted charged if the unit that's charging it can fly. You can only fight with this model if it's within 1 inch of any enemy unit that can fly, and this model can only make close combat attacks against units that can fly. Enemy units can only make close combat attacks against this model if they can fly. Yeah, three times over. It can blow up. It's also hard to hit, so when resolving attack made with a ranged weapon against this, subtract 1. It's supersonic, so when it moves in your movement phase, first pivot on the spot up to 90 degrees, then move the model straight forward. It can't pivot again after the initial pivot. When it advances, add 20 to the movement until the end of the movement phase instead of making an actual advance roll. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by this model against a unit that can fly, add 1 to the hit roll. And then Infernal Halo Launcher. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against this model by a model that can fly, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So it's hard to hit, so it's against things that can't hit it, and then when it can go against things that can fly. So it's minus 2 to hit for all that fun stuff. That's definitely something to pay attention for. Storm Raven Gunship. This is one of the transport units as well, which is very, very useful. Basically, movement is so its chart is movement, ballistic, attack. The attack and ballistics will always be the same for most of the things. So 8 to 14 is 20 to 45, 4 to 7 is 20 to 30, and then 1 to 3 is 20. Remember, minimum movement, so 20, no matter what, is automatic. Comes with 2 Storm Strike missiles, Twin Assault Cannon, and a Heavy Bolter. So Storm Strike missile is Heavy 1, Strength 8, minus 3, D3. Twin Assault is where'd it go? Is heavy 24 inches, heavy 12, strength 6, minus 1. The twin heavy bolter, it's a heavy bolter. Rapid fire, no, it's hurricane. Twin heavy bolter, yeah, heavy 6, strength 5, minus 1 damage. You can give up your assault cannon for a twin heavy plasma, which is basically heavy D3, 2D3, either at standard for 7s, super for 8s at minus 3 for 1 or 2 damage. Mortal wounds, yak yak. Or a twin las cannon, which is heavy 2, strength 9, 40-inch range, minus 3 D3 damage. You can give up the heavy bolter for a twin multi-melta or a twin missile launcher. Or a typhoon missile launcher. Typhoon missile launcher, basically heavy 2d6 for frag. Basically, it's a frag or a crack, so heavy 2d6 or heavy 2, depending on what you want. 4 strength for frags, 8 strength for crack, minus 2 AP for crack, d6 damage for the crack as well. You can also add on 2 hurricane bolters, which does which is basically 24-inch range, rapid fire 6. So 2 rapid fire 6s at strength 4. It's Angel of Death. It's airborne. It's supersonic. So that's the movement. Hover jet. Before it moves in your movement phase, you declare it will hover. However, its its movement becomes 20 inches until the end of the phase. It loses the airborne and hard to hit, and supersonic abilities until the next movement phase. So, if you don't want to have it crash and burn, you can say, okay, it's hovering, so it'll move up to 20, but it loses its it loses the benefits and the penalties for the movement and stuff. Can transport 12 infantry models. Dreadnoughts, jump packs, and terminators take space of 2. You heard me right. One dreadnought. Oh, it has a transport capacity of 12 infantry models and 1 dreadnought. Each jump pack terminator takes space of 2 infantry models. Each century takes place of 3 century models. This cannot transport any Primaris or dreadnoughts that have 13 or more wounds. So you get, and you here, and let me make sure I said this right. You have a capacity of 12 infantry and 1 dreadnought. Specifically, yes. Storm Talon gunship is a single model equipped with 2 heavy bolters and twin assault cannon. Brain movement is as follows: 20 to 50, 20 to 35, 20 inches. Same ballistics, same attacks. Let's see. So the heavy bolter, twin assault cannon, can give up the heavy bolter for 2 las cannons, a sky hammer, or a typhoon missile launcher. Same things as before. It has airborne. It's supersonic. You can make it hover, but you'll lose your hard to hit. You can also do a strafing run. When resolving attack with a ranged weapon by this model against a unit that cannot fly, add +1 to your hit. So as you're moving along, you can basically just target something and then just get +1 to hit. So that'll be like 2, 3, 4, however. And then explodes like normal, 6-inch range, D3 damage. Alright, that is everything for that. Here is basically a quick list of all the weapons, but we're not really going to care about that. We're going to care about the rule referring. So, bolt weapons. Any weapon that includes the word bolt, such as bolt gun, bolt rifle, storm bolter, a combi bolter, hurricane bolter, and any relic that replaces a bolt weapon, ergo Primarch's Wrath. Rules that apply to bolt weapons also apply to bolt gun profiles of combi weapons and bolter profiles of relics that replace combi weapons. Note, the following weapons are found in codex supplements are bolt weapons: the Blackout, Dorn's Arrow, the Gauntlets of Ultramar, Gorgon's Wrath, and the Quietus. So this is reference to bolt weapons. A flame weapon is anything that includes the word flame, such as the Flamer, Flamestorm Gauntlets, anything that replaces flame, and an Incendium cannon. The rules for flamers also apply to combi flamers and the flaming profiles. And also, these will be found in the supplements as well, the Gauntlets of the Forge and Dracus. Then there's the Melta gun rule, which is basically Meltas, Melta gun, or anything that replaces Melta, or combi Meltas, yak, all the fun little bits. And then here's the pages of all the different weapons you can take, the melee weapons, the special abilities of the war gear that you can take. And then finally, I think we are done with the page. Oh, here we go. Now we're on the final parts. Legacy of the Primarchs. In this section, you'll find rules of the Battleforged armies as defined below, Space Marine detachments and units. A Space Marine unit has one of the following faction keywords: Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, White Scars, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, Crimson Fists, and Black Templars. A Space Marine detachment is a detachment that only includes Space Marines. Note the Space Wolves, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Death Watch, Grey Knights, and Legion of the Damned are completely different in the organization way, ergo they have their own rules. The Space Marines gain the following ability: Defenders of Humanity. Basically, secure objective. The Army's Battleforge, all your troop units can secure an objective marker if you have more models than your opponent that has the same ability. Or if they have a unit that is not a troop choice, you automatically secure the objective. Chapter Tactics. If your army is Battleforged, other than the Servitors, and a Space Marine detachment other than a super heavy auxiliary detachment, Gain the chapter tactics ability as long as every unit is drawn from the same chapter. The chapter tactic depends on the chapter. For example, Ultramarines gain the Codex discipline, while if your chapter does not have the associated chapter tactic, you must create a successor chapter tactic for them, as described on 176, which will be farther along. So, here's the chapter tactics for all the for this Codex's thing. Codex Ultramarines they get the Codex discipline. We add one to the leadership characteristics of models with this tactic. Units with this tactics can shoot the turn they fell back, but if they do, when resolving the attack, we take a -1. Imperial Fist Siege Masters. When resolving the attacks made with a ranged weapon by a model with this tactic, the target ignores cover and it does not get it to a saving throw. If it was made with a bolt weapon, 6s give additional hits. White Scars. They can charge the turn they advance and fell back. The bike models with this tactic don't suffer penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons or for advancing and firing assault weapons. So ignore heavy, ignore assault. Let's see. Shadow Guard, Raven Guard, Shadow Masters. When resolving an attack with a ranged weapon against a unit with this tactic, model that is more than 12 inches away, the unit is treated as having a benefit of cover. If the unit is not a vehicle or is entirely within a terrain feature, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Wait, what? When resolving an attack with a ranged weapon against the unit with this tactic. Alright, so if they're being shot and they're a minimum 12 inches away, they have cover. If the unit is not a vehicle, and if that unit is not a vehicle and is entirely on or within a terrain feature, you -1 to hit. So you have to be in cover, and you have to be 12 inches away. No, hang on. If you're 12 inches away, you get your cover save. And if you are on terrain, on or in terrain, you get -1. The opponent has a -1 to hit. Nice. Let's see. Next is Salamanders. When they fire Overwatch, or is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can reroll a single hit, and you can reroll a single wound for the units. So you shoot Overwatch, you can reroll 1 attack, and you can reroll 1 wound. 1 per unit. When resolving an attack made with a weapon that has armor pen of -1 against a unit with this tactic, it's treated as it nullifies. It gets rid of -1 armor. So Salamanders can get rid of -1 APs. The Flesh is Weak. Iron Hands. When a model with this tactic loses a wound, they get a 6-up Feel No Pain. When resolving Overwatch, they get 5-ups to hit instead of 6s. And then they have a damage table considered double the number of wounds remaining for purposes of determining what road to use. So Iron Hands are more your vehicle things. If you, let's say you have a max thing of 15 and you're at 7, you're considered at 14 wounds. Your health is double what it is on the chart. Let's see. Righteous Zeal. When a charge roll is made for a unit with this tactic, you can reroll any or all dice. In addition, when a model uses this tactic, loses a wound as a result of a mortal wound, on a 5-up, the wound is not lost. So for this, you can choose which. So when you make a charge, you can choose with either one or all the dice to reroll if you failed. Let's say you have a 6 and a 1, you can reroll just the 1, or you can reroll both if you want. And then mortal wounds, 5-up, you ignores. It's kind of helpful. Crimson Fists, no matter the odds. When resolving an attack made by a model with this tactic against a unit that contains at least 5 or more models, then that model's unit, add 1 to the hit roll. For the purpose of this tactic, a vehicle with this tactic counts as 5 models. In addition, resolving an attack made When resolving an attack made by a model with this tactic against a unit that contains at least 5 or more models than that model's unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So, for purpose of the tactic, a vehicle counts as 5 models. In addition, when resolving an attack made with a bolt weapon by a model with this tactic, an unmodified roll of hit scores additional hit. Alright. So, on 6s, they score additional hits for both weapons, and they're shooting against a squad that has 5 more models than them. Wait, what? Against a unit that contains at least 5 more models than the models unit, add 1. So if they're fighting large size armies like Tyranids or Orcs, they get +1 to hit. And if they're fighting, and any bolt weapons they use on 6s, they get additional hits. On just natural 6s. Natural 6s has to be it. All right, so right here is all the chapter tactics for successors. Let's see. Aftermath of the Horsehair, Mirror chapters found in Gene Seed. If your chosen chapter does not have associated chapter tactic on page 175, you must instead create a chapter tactic by selecting the rules listed here, unless otherwise stated. Your chapter has 2 successor You can select 2 chapter tactics from the following list. Basically, you can be... I'll go over them real quick. Let's see. You can reroll hits of 1. A character can perform heroic interventions if they're 6 inches away instead of 3. Resolving melee attacks against infantry or biker on 6s score a hit and automatically wounds. You can't do this if you automatically have a whirlwind of range, which we'll show later. -1 to leadership for enemy units that are within 3. From any unit in the army. Like, this is army-wide. All this is army-wide. When a unit with this tactic advances or makes a charge move, add 1 to the advance or charge. When a morale test is taken, no more than 1 model can flee. If you select this successor tactic, you cannot select a second. Select one of the following chapters and use the chapter tactic listed. So it's Inheritors of Primarch. Basically, you can choose, you can make them one of the chapters. In the background, the publication of the chapter is not a successor of the specific founding chapter. For example, Stormlords, White Scars. You must select chapter tactic of that first founding chapter. So yeah, specifically, if you don't have any rules on your chapter, you can pull anything these out. However, if the chapter that you choose is known as a specific founding. Known successor of a specific first founding, such as Stormlords, or known successor of White Scars, then you must select the chapter tactic of the first founding chapter. So it depends on what kind of chapter you want to make. Are you far down the line, or are you really, really close? All right, knowledge is power. When a psychic test or deny the witch is taken for a psychic model within this tactic, reroll any dice of 1. Long-range marksman. Add 3 to the range for ranged weapon models with this tactic that are equipped with. So, +3 to range. Nice. When a unit with this tactic fires, Overwatch, or is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can reroll single hit and single wound roll. So yeah, basically salamander thing. When you select this tactic, select one of the following faction keywords. Tyranids, Eldari, or Heretic. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model against that particular faction, in turn, which model made a charge move or was charged before heroic, you can reroll that hit. What? Do that one more time. Alright. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with this tactic against a unit with that faction keyword in a turn in which a model made a charge move or was charged or performed heroic intervention, you can reroll the hit roll. Oh, some typos, but I'm thinking it's saying reroll. It depends on what chapter you are. You can reroll specific hit rolls against specific factions. Like if your faction has a particular hatred toward a Xenos or Hereticus or a particular enemy. Yeah, factions are as follows: the Tyranids, Eldari, Orc, Heretic, Astartes, Necrons, and Tau. Yeah, if you hate... good hate boner for anything anti-Imperium. Rapid Assault. Models with this tactic don't basically advance and fire assault weapons with no penalty. Signs of the Forge model with this tactic have damage table are considered to have double the number of wounds remain. So yeah, Iron Hands thing, double your wound count for the purposes of the chart. When resolving an attack made against a unit with this tactic, an unmodified wound roll of 1 or 2 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or model may attack have. When resolving an attack made against a unit with this... Alright, so if they hit you, if you're being attacked, a wound rolls against you of 1 or 2 automatically fails. Doesn't matter if it's 2-ups, doesn't matter what the ability or effects are. 1 and 2s always fails on wound rolls against you. Nice. This chapter makes stealthy. Basically, your 12-inch range and treated as being in cover. Plus stoic, you get +1 leadership. Tactical withdrawal, you can charge in a turn that you fell back in. Warded, when a model with this tactic would lose a wound, get a 5-up invuln. Whirlwind of range, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with this tactic in turn. Alright, so when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this model with this tactic, that is in a turn where the model unit made a charge move, was charged, will perform heroic intervention, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. So, on the turn that that particular unit was charged, or did a heroic intervention, plus an additional hit on 6s. And Duelists allows you to automatically wound. Whirlwind of range gives you additional hit on 6s. Alright, so we'll go over real quickly the warlord traits. Fear made manifest. There's 2 of them. There's the Space Marines and the Vanguards. I'll go over them real quick. Fear made manifest. Subtract 1 from enemy leadership while they're within 6 inches of the warlord. Imperium sword. When a charge roll is made for the warlord, you can re-roll any or all dice. If it's made and if it's in the charge phase, the warlord makes a charge move or performs heroic intervention, add +1 to the strength and attack characteristics of him. So basically, it's a furious charge. Iron Resolve. When the warlord loses a wound on a 6, he does not. Champion of Humanity. +1 to his attack characteristics while there's an enemy character unit within 1 inch of him. When resolving the attack made with this melee weapon by a warlord against a character unit, add 1 to the hit and wound roll. So yeah, anti-character. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a friendly chapter unit within 6 inches of him, on unmodified 6, it becomes +1 AP. Rights of War. Warlord has Defenders of Humanity ability, so morale within 6 automatically passes. Vanguards. Shoot and fade. At the start of your shooting phase, select 1 friendly chapter Phobos unit within 6 inches of the warlord. After shooting that unit, it can move as if it were the movement phase. If it does, it must advance and cannot declare a charge in the following charge phase. So, yeah, basically shoot, and then move again while advancing. So basically, hit and run tactic. Lord of Deceit. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, select 3 friendly chapter Phobos units in the battlefield. Remove them, and then set them back up. If both players have the ability, redeploy the units on a roll-off. Master of the Vanguard. Add 1 to the movement characteristics of friendly Phobos units while they're within 6 inches of him. Add 1 to the advance and charge rolls for friendly Phobos units while they're within 6 of the warlord. Nice. So +1 to move, +1 to advance, +1 to charge while they're within 6 of the warlord for Vanguards. When resolving attack made against this warlord, -1 to hit. Nice. At the start of the shooting phase, select 1 friendly chapter Phobos unit within 3 inches of the warlord until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon, add 1 to hit. Awesome. Target priority. Add 1 to the damage characteristics of ranged weapons that this warlord is attacking with, equipped with. It does not apply to grenades or relics. So +1 to damage. Nice. And then your standard warlord traits for the chapters that they have normally. In these codex supplements for them, they're supposed to be coming out with more traits. So I'll just go over these real quick in case they don't already know. On a So, Adept of the Codex. While it's on the battlefield, reroll 1d6 for each command point you spend. For each command point you spend on a stratagem, on a 5-up, it's refunded. And you can only have one command point refunded per battle by this warlord trait. So, per battle round. So, once a turn. Once on either player's turn, you can reroll your command points, and if you get, you'll get one back. So it's kind of annoying, but there's other people that do it on 6s that have to work on it. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, has a high armor penetration characteristic against -1 against friendly Imperium units. Alright, so if someone's attacking a friendly Imperial Fist unit within 6 inches of the warlord, they get... It has -1 AP. They get +2 to the saving throw instead of 1 if they receive cover. If they're receiving cover. So you have guys, they're in cover, they're taking a shot that is -1. You automatically make it a +2 cover save. Not a 2-up cover save, but add 2 to your save. Alright. White Scars. The Warlord makes a charge move. Select one enemy unit within 1 inch of it on a d6. Roll d6. On a 2-up, they suffer a mortal wound. Silent Stalker. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at the Warlord. +2 strength to the Warlord. Resolving the attack made by the Warlord. An unmodified hit of 6. You make an additional attack with the same weapon. The additional can't do an additional. When the Warlord can do a heroic intervention within 6 instead of 3, and then the first time the Warlord is destroyed on a d6 at the end of the phase, roll d6, a 4-up, he comes back with d3 wounds, placing him as close as possible to the previous position, but more than 1 inch away. So yeah, he refuse to die is pretty good. And then we have all the stratagems, which I want to say most of the stuff is all really the same. Let me just take a quick... I'll go over them real quick. So, Armor Contempt. If a model in your army would lose a wound as a result of mortal wound, on a roll a d6, on a 5-up, wounds not lost. Until the end of the phase. When the model would lose a wound as a result of mortal wound, roll d1. Alright, so basically, Armor Contempt, anything that's suffering mortal wounds in a turn, you basically, first you'll roll 5-up, you ignore the mortal wound, and then until the end of the turn, until the end of that phase, you can keep doing 5-up, feeling the pains for the mortal wounds. Alright, Auspex Scans. Use the stratagem after your opponent sets up a unit in the battlefield within 12 inches of any infantry, Adeptus Astartes infantry units from your army. One of those units can shoot the enemy as if it were the shooting phase at -1. Suppression Fire, Whirlwind, and Thunderfire Cannon. If they haven't moved, most of these abilities are basically the same. Chapter Master ability, Death of the Traitor for Astartes, Heretics, Honor the Chapter at the end of the fight phase. Select a unit from your army within 1 inch of enemy units. They can fight an additional time. Duty Eternal. When a Dreadnought is chosen as target for an attack, when resolving an attack made against the model, half the damage inflicted. You've got your Flak Missile. If you're using a missile launcher with your infantry intercessor, they get Bolt Storm, Hunter Slayer Missile. Yeah, some of these are the same. Yeah, if you fall back with a Bite Squad, you can do Mortal Wounds, Hellfire Shells for that, for the Heavy Bolters. Yeah, this is... Graphic. Use stratagem when an Astartes unit from your army is chosen to shoot with until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made with a Grav Cannon, Grav Amp by a model in that unit, you can reroll wound rolls and reroll damage. Rapid Fire. For Intercessor squads, until the end of the phase, bolt rifles that model are equipped with have type characteristic Rapid Fire 2. Open Bombardments, Relics, Hammer of Wrath, Big Guns Never Tire. Target Sighted, Tremor Shells, Wisdom of the Ancient, Skyfire. Vengeance of the Machine Spirit. Here we are. The model can either... Alright, Vengeance of the Machine Spirit. When a Adeptus Astartes Land Raider, Repulsor model, or Storm Raven gunship is destroyed, the model can either automatically explode, do not roll your d6, shoot with one of its ranged weapons as it was a shooting phase, or make an attack with its melee weapons as if with a fight phase. Use the top row for damage when shooting with the ranged weapon or resolving an attack with a melee. So you can either auto explode, or you can shoot back again, or fight, depending on how you want to do it. Alright, and then here's a special one. A hero of the chapter. Using the stratagem before the battle after nominating your warlord, select Adeptus Astartes character. That is not your warlord, determine one warlord trait for it, and is regarded as your warlord for purposes of the warlord trait. Each warlord trait in your army must be unique. If randomly generated, reroll duplicate results. So basically, you can add one of your characters can have a warlord trait with it. Here we are. Transhuman cytology. Stratagem and at starting your army is not a vehicle or a servitor. It is chosen as a target for attack until the end of the phase when resolving attacks made against the unmodified wound rolls of 1 to 3 always fails. So yeah, it helps. So yeah, something like that. That's different. Fury of the First. To the end phase, resolving attack made by a model in that unit. Add 1 to the hit roll. For Terminators, Gene Wrought Might. When a Primus infantry unit is your army is chosen to fight with until the end of the phase when resolving the attack made with a melee weapon. Unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically scores hit. Unsuccessful wounds. Target do not wound. Alright, finally, the chapter relics. I'm going to have to speed through this, so I'm just going to go over a couple of things here. Let's see, we have the Armor Domus, which is basically a 2-up armor for infantry or biker model only. Before making your saving throw, you can choose to activate the force field. If you do, you have a 3-up invuln to the end of the turn. Let's see, the Burning Blade. I think they modified it a bit. More than likely, it's the same than anything. Reliquary Gamlavar. It's Primaris only model. When a psychic test is taken for an enemy model within 18 inches from the model with this relic, subtract 1 from the total. In addition, when the psychic test has failed for enemy model within it, you can roll d6. On a 4-up, that enemy model suffers d3 mortal wounds. So basically, good for anti-psychers, but it's a Primaris weapon only, item only. And then finally, we'll do another Primaris weapon. Alright, so Vox Aspiro. Primaris only. If a model with this relic adds 3 inches to the range of its aura ability, AKG like Rites of Battle or something, it does not increase the range of psychic powers or litanies of battle that are aura abilities. So it works for so basically it's like for captains or something for their abilities, but not litanies or psychic powers. Alright, so for this I'm definitely going to go over individually because those be only if you, depending on how you want to do it when you get your book, but these two would be interesting to do. Librarius Discipline. Veil of Time, charge of 6. If select chapter unit within 18 inches of the psyker until the next psychic phase when you advance or charge for that unit, you can reroll the dice. In addition, always fights first, even if it didn't charge. If the enemy has units that have charge or have similar ability, then alternate between the two. So basically fighting first ability. Might of Heroes, you need a charge value of 6. Select a model within 12 inches of the psyker. Until the next psychic phase, add 1 to the strength, toughness, and attacks. If the attack scores and hits on a unit that has more than 1 toughness characteristic, use the unit's lowest toughness characteristic, making the... Wait, what? If an attack scores a hit on a unit that has more than 1 toughness characteristic, use the unit's lowest... Oh. Alright, so if there's a... Alright, well, more than likely if it's like if there's like multiple units or something and something has different toughnesses. Until the start of your next cycle, add 1 to the strength, toughness, and attacks. If the attack scores a hit on a unit that has more than 1 toughness characteristic, use the unit's lowest toughness characteristic, making results that wound roll for that attack. I guess that works. I've never seen anything with multiple toughness rolls, but we'll probably see in the future. Alright, Null Zone. Charge value of 7. Until your starting next turn, invulnerable saves cannot be made for enemy units while they're within 6 inches of the psyker. And a psychic test taken for any enemy model within 6 of the Psyker is halved. So basically, no invuln, no nothing. Scourge. If manifested, select an enemy unit within 18 inches visible to the Psyker. Then roll a d6 and add the Psyker's leadership characteristics to the result. Your opponent then rolls a d6 and then adds the highest leadership characteristics of a model in a selected unit to result. If your total is higher than your opponent, the unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. If it's equal, the selected unit does 1 mortal wound. If it's less than the opponent's, then nothing happens. So you're having like a leadership off. If your Psyker has better leadership combined with the roll than the unit that you're targeting, you can either do, if it's better, you can do d3. If it's equal, you can do 1, and then if it's less, nothing happens. Fury of the Ancient. Manifest at 7, 1 enemy model within 12, and that's visible to the Psyker. Draw the shortest possible imaginary straight line 1 millimeter wide between the Psyker base and that model space, the selected model's unit. And each other enemy unit that this line passes across suffers a mortal wound. So, Psyker base and the model space. Fury of the Ancient. Let's see. So basically, you select your unit, and if there's things in between, the units cross take a mortal wound. Psychic Fortress. 5 to manifest. 1 friendly adaptive starter unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. When a morale test is taken, do not roll a dice. It automatically passes. In addition, when a model in that unit would lose a wound, on a 4-up, the wound is not lost. So 4-up, feel no pain, automatic morale tests. Obscurus Discipline. Second to the Vanguard, operations are trained in the psychic arts. So this one would be for, it was like one, specifically for the Vanguard ones. Shrouding has a 6 charge. Until the start of your next psychic phase, enemy models can only shoot the unit if it is visible, is the closest target visible to them, or they're firing Overwatch. So basically, it kind of makes that unit a character. Soul Sight. If manifested, a Phobos unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in this unit, you can reroll a hit roll. The target does not receive the benefit of cover to its saving throw. So better shots. Mind Raid has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy model within 18 inches of a visual. Within 18 inches of and is visible to the Psyker, the model unit suffers a mortal wound. If your army is Battleforged and the model is a character, they roll 3d6. If the result is equal to or greater than the model's leadership characteristics, you gain a command point. That is going to be something. It's called Mind Raid. Alright. Hallucination. Charge value of 3. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, -1 leadership of models in that unit. Your opponent then rolls 2d6. If the leadership is greater than the highest leadership of the models in that unit, then until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Alright, so basically, they do a morale test, and if whatever he rolls is better than their leadership, then they get -1 to shoot. Nice, very nice. Turnbust Curse has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select an enemy unit that cannot fly is within 18 inches, visible to the Psyker, suffers a mortal wound until the next psychic phase, half the move characteristics and result of any advance and charge rolls, rounding up. And finally, the Temporal Corridor has a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select 1 Chapter Phobos units within 3 inches of the Psyker. That unit can immediately move as if a moving phase, but cannot fall back as part of its move, and must advance. When an advance roll is made for that advance, roll 3d6 and discard 2 results. You cannot use the corridor on the same unit more than once per psychic phase. And then finally, we have our litanies of battle. So, we have the 3 litanies. Before battle, generate the litanies model that the chaplain knows You can either roll randomly or select litanies as below. Litany of Faith is inspiring when a model is with a friendly unit within 6 inches would lose a wound as a result. Get 5 up in Vuln. It's not cumulative with other abilities. If this litany is inspiring, select one friendly unit within 6. Resolving attack with a ranged weapon by model. That unit against that closest enemy, visible enemy unit, add 1 to the wound roll. Extortion of Rage. Select one friendly chapter unit within 6 inches of the model, and resolving attack made with a melee weapon by model in that unit. On unmodified 6, make an additional attack, but can't generate extra attacks. Mantra of Strength. Add 1 to the attack and characteristics, and add 1 to the damage of melee weapons that this model is equipped with. Of Focus. A recantation of Focus. One friendly unit within 6, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by that model, and the unit add 1 to the hit roll. So that's kind of useful for my squads because I'm mostly a range army. And then Catechol of Hate. Bellowing his hatred of foe, Chaplain leads his brother in hold destruction. Add 2 to the charge roll made for friendly chapter units while they're within 6. In addition, when a friendly unit makes a pile-in or consolidation move within 6 inches of the model, models in that unit can move the additional 3. It is not cumulative of any other abilities. That adds to units' charge rolls or increases distance in the pile and consolidates. And that is the last of it. Then the last but not least is all the point values and changes, and then your tactical objectives right here. But other than that, that is basically it for the book itself. We now know what's inside and what all the armies can definitely do. For in the future, I know for sure they're supposed to be coming out with more supplements for the chapters in here, and then more than likely they are going. You could also pull stuff from this book to the other chapters, like the Space Wolves, the Grey Knights, all that. But definitely that it has been at least my opening of this book. I'm going to try doing another video another time for the Ultramarines supplement. I might go for White Scars, who knows, depending on what we decide to go for. But other than that, that is really everything we have. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you need me to go over something that didn't make sense. Worst case, I at least inspire you to come take a look at the book for yourself. Like I said before, I like the pictures mostly. And then all the abilities and chapters and the little lore behind it. Like I said, definitely, if you are a Space Marine guy, get the book, look over the lore. They might have added something. They might have subtracted things. Especially, I know for sure, like the unfounding chapters that they did, that there was a couple things that were rotated out. But definitely, especially if you are successor chapters, this book will definitely help you out. And especially for those that use Battle Scribe, you will need this. You will definitely need this. Otherwise, you won't be able to figure out what some of your army does. Believe me, I took a look at my thing yesterday, and it had all these extra things that the guys coded in, and I couldn't find out what it was until just now. But thank you guys very much for joining me for this video. I do apologize. It's kind of long. I'm going to try to see what I can cut out and make better. But I hope to see you all again next time. And then, if you want to take a look at my other videos, I want to say right here, right here, to take a look at least what I've painted so far. Upcoming, I'm going to be doing a little update for this guy right here. I'm about done with him. I just got to do a quick showcase video of what he is, as well as my Terminator squads that are coming in. And if you want to check out my Twitch, I'm trying to get back into a cycle of painting. But definitely I will do a link in below. If not, you can check out my other videos. I'll have links to either that or my other things. But other than that, that will be it for me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and see you next time.